see here. Make sure my camera clear to the best of my ability. Now let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? B Faye. Let me know if you could hear me. Light a little bit. Get this thing. Get this old light crunk up a little bit. Ooh, thing too light. Too light. Got too much light on my face. Y'all forgive me. Let me see. Brianna, you ain't watched enough videos. If you think I'm gonna write you in the comments talking about write me on WhatsApp, come on now. Y'all got to y'all. That's why I be trying to tell y'all. Y'all got to. You can't be that desperate for a sign from God, for a message, because that's what we'll do. We'll believe the distraction. We'll believe the decoy. And because we just sitting there, I know God finna say something. So you see me tell you, I don't answer no messages from women in the DM. Then you gonna think I'm finna message you in the comments and say, write me on WhatsApp. Now a lot of y'all been writing me about that. Tony, what's this in the comments? What's this in the spam? What's this in the comments? What's this? And I'm like, for one, that make me feel special that y'all only watch my YouTube channel or y'all only read my comments, because if you look around at other YouTube channels, that's really happening on almost every YouTube channel, especially a YouTube channel with over 100,000 subscribers. You will see pictures of them in the comments and saying message me on WhatsApp or something like that. It's just sad that scammers be out there like that. It's just crazy to see. Like, wow, like you just can't believe that it's like that. But it is what it is. And we early tonight now. A lot of people at I didn't realize it was this early, even though I type 7:45. I know I normally go on here at like 9 p.m. when people be, done with dinner and all of that. But it was just when I looked at my calendar and realized I didn't have a coaching session tonight or anything, I just asked my wife, hey, can I go live? And she's like, yeah, you go on live. So that's why I'm on here. And got a little time to take these shoes off. Take my shoes off and get comfortable. I had football practice with Tatum tonight. And then after they practiced an hour, me and him went another hour practicing. And just to, get a little more work in, got to get my boy right. It's flag football now. We ain't doing helmets and none of that yet. We might do it one season. I don't want them to play, but I like them to do a season just because that football, it do teach you some lessons, some other lessons about life and about manhood that, I wouldn't wish that on nobody for a long time, but we might do that. So y'all forgive me just coming on here early, and hopefully we be done in a decent time so that I could relax later now. You ain't got to stay up, Oh, y'all, Noella. So y'all, well, what time it is where y'all at? It can't be 8 o'clock where y'all at now. Y'all ready to go to bed already? Here on my hat here. So yeah, but I wanted to pop on here and do a Q&A. It was something. Now listen. I'm gonna tell you something. Listen to me. I got a video I shot today. I don't know if I'm gonna post it. That's why I need to go and create TonyTube. But I got a video today because I've been getting a lot of messages from women about their boyfriend or fiance or liking men. And that's I would imagine that's been around since the beginning of time. But for me to be getting the amount of emails and messages about this, it also let me know that it's something going on out here for men to be liking men but having a woman. And the video was a little real now. And I think it's scheduled to go out tomorrow at noon. But it's really, my thing is I don't want nobody to, get offended or think I'm, saying something about a certain community. But what I am strongly against is a man wanting a man, but also wanting to keep a woman or lead that woman on or deceive that woman. I'm strongly against that. It just ain't right. It ain't fair. It's like if you a and don't use that woman as no beard when you want you a man. That right there, that bothered me because it just caused a lot of chaos and confusion. And can you imagine if a, a child in a situation and don't know, like, that they weren't born in a way that they want somebody of the same, you know, gender, and they want somebody of the opposite gender, and this boy 12 years old, and then he find out his dad had him with his mom, but his dad dealing with men too. That's just unnecessary confusion, and that's unselfish. I mean, that's selfish of humans to do that. So it's like, if you want to live that life, then okay, that's on you as a grown man, but don't take a woman through that and have her there and confused and wondering, and she don't know, if she being cheated on with a man. Like, we gotta really, we gotta get some type of, respect and morals about life. And it's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So don't want you what you want, but then want somebody to be your cover up because you don't want to tell your friends or your family or your co-workers what you really want. That just ain't right. And so I got that video. I shot that video now. Video, it's a little real. And then today I shot a video for men too as I was driving, because it's a lot going on right now. I sent this to the Blessed Business Tribe about the video, with the lady who is on the website doing the nasty movies. And I'm realizing that here these guys is who do a business channel and about making money, and they interviewing this lady who she make her money from making nasty movies, and she young, in her early 20s. And that just was so heartbreaking to me to see that somebody was raised with that much confusion, that they will sell their private areas and private life online just for money. And it show you just how money hungry people can be. But what the video was about men and them nasty movies, because they gotta, they gotta know, they gotta be watching that to know who she is. And the one young man who interviewing her, he interviewing her, and then he mentioned some other ones that is making good money. I'm like, well, all you doing is watching this here stuff, my brother. Like, how you know all these names of these women who got these channels who making good money? You got a lot of subscriptions going on. But it just showed me like how men could be out here functioning. And this is a couple women that done wrote me too about this. A couple women done wrote me too about, saying something about that they have that same addiction to them nasty movies. And it's a trick of the enemy. It's a trick of the enemy. And you got to be careful with that stuff. You got to be careful with it. Now, if it was all right and it was healthy for your life and for a relationship, then I'll be stamping it. But we got to be careful with them nasty movies, because it's going to lead you astray. It's going to take you down a path you don't want to go down. And so you got to get your life together on that. And I'm gonna tell you now, from a male perspective, if a man got an issue with that, I would tell my daughter, if I had a daughter, or my sister, I would tell them, don't deal with that man. Let him get that together. Hey, y'all, hold on right quick, cause I had uh took my rings off in there for some. I was washing my hands, took my rings off. Let me go get my rings, get my wedding rings. Hold on right quick. Yeah. So yeah, I had to go get my rings, cause y'all have me on the blog. Oh yeah, Tony Ashton was on live and then had his wedding rings on. He must be going through what such and such going through. No, no, not me. Not me. Now let me tell you something else before I get started. My 14-year-old come home today, and a man at his school, older gentleman, probably in his 60s or something, 70s, then gave my son a demerit. So they get demerits at their school. Gave him a demerit because while they out serving at the Metropolitan Ministries, they had to went outside and was waiting on the students. So my son walked back in there into the foyer to get his friends, like, hey, y'all come on. The lady said, hey, you gotta have a mask on in here. Now mind you, she being all extra, cause where we live at, that ain't really no thing. But he had it on the whole time they was leaving. So he hadn't thrown it away. They was leaving. And he was like, oh, okay, well, where do I get a mask from? Over at the table. He went to the table to put it on, went and got the students. And then as he walking out, he took it off as he finna walk out. Now the lady then went to the teacher and told the teacher he being disrespectful. And see, this the thing. And I told my son, I say, now if that was uh, a white female, she wouldn't have said nothing. She wouldn't have said nothing about that. And he said it was an elderly white lady. Now where we live at, it's a racial lines, it's real prejudice. And then the guy, older white guy. And so the guy gonna write an email, and I told my wife what I felt about it, and I wrote that man an email, and I say, listen here, we paying $30,000 plus for my son to go to this school, and his only demerit is from you. And my son had been at this school 11 years and ain't never once got a demerit for disrespect. I said, you need to be able to talk to my son and ask him what happened before you just assume something. And I'm serious with my son about his behavior, because I don't want him to meet somebody like you that's going to look at him with implicit bias and judge him and believe something that somebody else told him without asking him to get the facts first, because your demerit could be they bullet if it's a racist police. And so I put that man in check now, and I'll go up to that school and talk to him. But the lesson from that is you got to make sure that you're getting the whole rundown from your child when your child come home. That you're getting the whole rundown about school, because you have people that's teachers and people that's over your child that have implicit bias and be saying little stuff to your child, and your child don't even realize it. And so when I told it to my wife and she went and told my son, my son said the man is racist, because when he talked to me, if you heard the tone that he talked to me with, you would have thought that I had done somebody. And so when I heard that, because my son, he know you got to come all the way correct, because if I find out you lying, boy, you finna pay a price. And so I let him know we'll go to the battle for you, but you got to be 100% honest. And so we done gave him that honesty to where he honest to a fault. He tell us everything. He tell too much business. But I say that to say, you got to get on these schools. No matter what kind of school you at, you got to be able to let them teacher know, I ain't use a single cuss word. And yeah, I compared them to the police that's out here taking people's lives because of their implicit bias. And you got to be able to check them, to let them know you don't play about your kids. Because the thing today is that a lot of people, a lot of parents, we get so caught up in our work, we get so caught up in what we doing that we're not paying attention to our children. And them teachers could be at school and they could be being mistreated at home. Them teachers, they could be mad with their boyfriend, mad with their girlfriend, mad with their husband, mad with their wife. They could have an eviction notice. They could be going through anything. And them adults, we know from being adults that we can project our mishaps on the other people. So imagine your child being projected on from this here teacher if you're not paying attention. So that's another little life lesson to where you got to get involved. You got to make sure you go sit down with the principal. You sit down with the assistant principal. You talk to these people and you talk to the teacher and you let them know that you hands on and that you active with your child. You let them know that you discipline your child at home. So don't send home no disciplinary note just thinking ain't nothing gonna happen because your child paying a price for that. My son had been without his Xbox for 5 months before because of something he did in school in the 5th grade. What 5th grader getting grounded 5 months from the Xbox? Not many. A lot of parents barely do 2 days, barely do a week. 2 weeks is like 2 years to most parents, not over here, because I got to raise that boy right. And so I let these folks know, and all of them is the opposite, race of me. But I let them know, listen, I don't play by mine now. I don't play by mine. You got to see me by mine. You got to talk to me. You got to let me know this a child. This ain't no adult. You need to call me. You need to tell me what's going on with my minor. You feel what I'm saying? And this how you got to put these people in place because a lot of times they think, oh, you still this and that. And they'll go to treating you like that. You gotta let them know, buddy. No, I'm off that plantation now. You got to see me correctly. You hear me? And I tell my son, listen, you got the defensive drive, and you get out, you get out the situation, and then you make sure you speak truth to power. If you talking to somebody with something on their hip, you talking to somebody you don't never know what somebody dealing with now, what somebody got on their hip. But if you know he got something on his hip, you get out the situation, and then we going to get that lawsuit. Then we going to get that recourse. But now when you're dealing with a school teacher or something like that, no, I tell my son, listen. I say, when that man come up to you, I say, was the man there? He said, no. He said, did he ask you what happened? He said, yeah, but he didn't really let me explain. He was walking off. I say, You get him and say, yes, can I explain to you what happened? And you make sure that you explain what happened. I say, you got a voice. Don't let nobody make you feel like you ain't got no voice and like you can't speak up for yourself. So if somebody gonna accuse you of something, make sure you express yourself. And that's the thing. What I was listening to a book one time, I think it was Malcolm Gladwell, and he was talking about how the middle class, how like the upper middle class, and he ain't say a color, or go to the doctor, and the mom tell the child like, listen, this doctor is like your friend. He worked for you. We paying him. So any questions you have, you ask the questions you have. So the child come in there with the doctor, and he like, this a partnership. So yeah, so what are we doing today? And all of that. But then I think of Malcolm Gladwell book, he say the lower class, the lower middle class, or the lower class financially, tell their child, hey, when we go in here, this is a doctor, you shut up, you be quiet, you be behaved, you don't say a word, and you go in here and you get this shot and you get this medicine and you don't say nothing. And he say they take and steal the voice of the child, feeling like they don't belong, feeling like they don't have any agency. And now it's different when you're dealing with somebody with something on their hip now. That right there. That's when you got to be intelligent and you got to know. But when you dealing with some just regular everyday people and workers, and that's why a lot of people come out here to work to my house, and they come out here with their chest poked out because they working for somebody who don't look like them, and they think they want to have that same energy like they had on the plantation. No, bro, you ain't got to get this job. Hey, hold on now. Excuse me, sir. I asked you a question. So I need the question answered. Hey, sir, it sound like you rushing. It sound like you rushing through. I'm asking you questions. Actually, sir, yeah, I'm not gonna hire your company. Okay, well, fine. All right, yeah, all right, bye. You see what I'm saying? We have to have a sense of agency, and you got to have some ownership on this here planet, in this world, and we got to stop living so scared because your money ain't where you want it to be. We ain't got no topic, MP. So don't come in here talking about what's the topic. The topic is whatever we talking about now. I see. Don't come in here trying to check nothing now. You see what I'm saying? Hey, listen. This about here energy. This here about ownership. And so we have to understand that. Do you see what it say? It's a chat. It's a chat. And see, this is the thing. People, we get in this place where we can't get beside ourselves to where we want to check somebody. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I told y'all today, did I post that video? The well, 2022, this here block finger working fast. The here block finger working fast. And I see anybody in the comments uh telling me how to do my video, Malcolm. God bless you now. Now, Malcolm, I think you the only man in the Blessed Tribe. God bless you now. We need more men in there. Well, we got a few other men, but they rarely be on the chat. And that's what we got to get over as men. Yeah, come on out now. Come on in here and feel the temperature of the room first. You know, sit and read a little bit first. You know, cause come on now, y'all know I be hypersensitive about my stuff. So come on, you know, feel the room out first. Listen, read a few chats. You know, then kind of see. Okay, Nelson in here. All right, Nelson in the Blessed Tribe. I'm glad to see you, Nelson, that you still here. I be seeing Nelson. I always wonder when a man in the Blessed Tribe, I be like, nah, hold on. Is his girlfriend in the Blessed Tribe and he trying to show her he doing some work, or he just really supporting? Appreciate you though, Nelson. Bless you, TG. I just wanted to give to you because you constantly pour on to us. I'm grateful you still working with us. Appreciate your patience and diligence. God bless you there, Nelson. I see Nelson all the time. MP, God bless you. I appreciate you. I'm glad you're excited. I'm excited for you too. Bodine, thank you. Thank you for all that you do for us. Hey, God bless you now. Now remember, if you have a question, put hashtag Q. Hashtag Q. And in between the questions, I'm just kind of talking, just kind of ranting. Because one thing I like to do is pull lessons from real life. And one of the things I see is like, that right there came in from that man. And I wish I could read that to Mary. The man didn't even see my son's situation with the mask. Now I guarantee you that man voted for Trump. Trump don't wear no mask. So if my son walking somewhere and in the state we in, it ain't even no mask mandate. So the lady being all extra because she elderly. So, and then she white, she looking at a black boy. She older, 70s, 80s. In our state, that ain't no, you know. And so when the man sent the thing in, the way he wrote it, it sound like my son looked him in the face and said, no, I'm not doing nothing. That's how the man wrote it. Like, it was very disrespectful and made us look bad as a school and organization. So I had to get to the bottom of that with my son, because he know I don't play that. And the man wasn't even there. Hey, Malcolm, God bless you now. God bless you. And I thank you for giving it a chance. And what I ask even more men who be passing by on here and who think this be about man bashing, or this just, you know, one of them pandering channels, is to give it a chance, listen to what I'm talking about, and then realize that I call it straight down the middle. Then I'm just stepping on my toes and just telling the truth as I know it, to help us be better as people, help us grow as people, not just helping women grow, not just helping men grow, but helping people grow. And I think a lot of times don't realize that. And Lady Cat, you already know I don't play that. I ain't raised no disrespectful kids. I'll be the first one. I'll be the first one in their chest. So, you know, But I say that to say we got to protect our children. We got to make sure that we in here taking care and we speaking up so people know if you when you do by this child, do right by this child. So I have 4 friends that purchase a membership. You talking about the Blessed Tribe? If so, God bless you. God bless you now. Now, if you have a question, put the hashtag Q. Test Jordan. That's the first one I done seen. Can you please elaborate on what a low maintenance woman is and why it could be a downfall in a relationship? Now, see, here's the thing. Now, I could elaborate on stuff, but if I did not come up with the term, what that means is that my interpretation could be wrong. So essentially, a low maintenance woman, it could mean something different to each man, but just in general speaking, it's really talking about a woman who doesn't ask for anything or much, or she doesn't require much. So some women don't get their nails done. Some women do their own hair. Some women do their own makeup. Some women don't like high dollar fancy designer clothes. That would be considered low maintenance on the money side. Some women are not confrontational and they don't like to call town hall meetings. They don't like to address small stuff. They don't like to nitpick. They just address big issues or issues that could lead to a breakup. And so that could be low maintenance on the relational side of things. And so that's really what that's talking about. Now, if you see somebody post a hashtag Q and then you see some other chats come in, just hold your question and post it when it sounds like I'm about to stop talking. Should you tell a woman whose husband is following and interacting with on social media? Mm. Now listen. Now listen. The side I'm on is mind your business. That's the side I'm on. And now normally I would say yes. But in today's time, I would say mind your business. Because for one, she might know already and hoping don't nobody else know. Because if you know and that's not your man, I'm pretty sure she know. Because she gonna pay even closer attention to her man if you paying attention to her man. You see what I'm saying? So she may know and may not want nobody to know. And now if she not on social media, then okay, she might not know. But somebody else might tell her. But now again, what you have to understand about people is that people could be territorial about their situation. So if you speak on her man and she say, well, such and such told me you've been doing this on social media, that man, if you don't know where his mind at, because if he doing that publicly on social media, then his mind is a little gone because that's taboo. So if he publicly taboo, that means he is a little off. So what that tells me is that that's the type of man that will loosen your lug nuts on your tires so that when you get on the highway going 70, you got a little issue. So see, that's why I say mind your business. Because today we dealing with different stuff. Paula, God bless you. Now, thank you for joining. More MK. Now let me see. Now I'm looking for the hashtag Q. Now if a moderator get in here, they'll be deleting all the extra chatting. So y'all get that in while you can. Should you tell a woman whose husband is following? Okay, that's the one I read. Met a guy, asked for my number, and gave it to him. He texts me frequently, no calls. Good convo, share similar values, but says not looking for a relationship. Why even ask for my number? Because he cheating. That's because he cheating. And that's why he not calling. Because it's just simpler to just text. So when you're not going to be serious about somebody, or you trying to figure out if they want to jump in that bed, then he just going to text. And so you got to understand that if you meet a man and all he does is text, like a man who's serious, or a man who wants something, a man who looking for a relationship, he gonna call you the day of, at the latest the next day or the next day. And then what a man who's serious about something, what he want to do is he want to get on the phone with you, or he want to get on FaceTime with you. But a man who only texts, that's always a track shoes situation. Lace them up and take on off. Put your track shoes on. Got to get gone. Because text message is not communication. And that's why the conversation feel good, because when you read them words, it's going into your brain differently. And then you sitting on it and you replaying it over and over and over. So it's actually making the conversation better than it is. That's why people like reading a book versus watching a movie. Or they think the book was better than the movie. Because when you read them words, it go into your mind differently. Hi, Tony. What's your thoughts on a dad who waits for the text and call him? I can't fully wrap my head around that, but because I'm in the home, with my kids. But one thing is, when I'm on the road, I don't call my kids. I don't call my kids. I don't talk to my kids on the phone when I'm on the road, and I never have. And the reason why is it make being on the road harder for me as an adult, and I don't want to make it harder on them as a kid. It could make it better on them, but I don't know. They don't ask to talk to me either. They be fine with their mama. But I rarely, unless they right there, I say hey or whatever, but I don't ask to talk to them on the phone. And the reason being is because I don't like being on the road. And so a lot of times with some men, when they're not with their child, it's their way of processing the pain. It's their way of processing. And this, if it's a decent dude. Now, if he just no good, then I don't even think you'll be asking that question, because you already know what he about. But when he a decent dude and he doing something like that, sometimes it's just because it's failure. It remind him of failure. When he reach out, when he got to call them, it remind him of failing with you. And it remind him that he not in the home. So for some men, it's a coping mechanism. And it's nothing against the kids or anything. It's what he telling himself he got to do for his mental health. And that's not making an excuse. That's an explanation. Lacey, God bless you. I appreciate the 2022 Motivation Vibes TG, another male in the blessed tribe. Oh, okay. This L Lacey. Hey, God bless you, now. God bless you. God bless you, now. I'm 54. He's 56. Been dating exclusively for a year. Talk of marriage. He has 15-year-old daughter coming to live with him full time. Changes us how to move. Full time changes us how to move, Tony. Well, she's 15, so that's a little different. She's 15, she's not 5. So she probably dating herself, probably could be doing a little more than dating. So she now about grown. 3 years she grown. So she probably not tripping over you. So, don't look at it too deep like that. That's on him to handle. That's on the man to handle. Now, if he not handling it and she like disrespecting you, or she telling him to break up with you or something like that, then that's when you know you got a little issue. But don't make it an issue if it's not an issue. Taking flight, God bless you now. Any advice for single mother whom have distances from her family and our father with no support anywhere, needing encouragement? One thing you have to know in a situation like that is that you are enough. That's one thing you have to know. Because you got to realize the one thing you needed a man for to have that child is just that right there, that went in there. And then after that, from that point forward, from you carrying that child to the child coming out to you feeding that child, God required nothing else of the man. So when a man take a stupid pill, when a man go his way, you have to know that you are enough. You got to know that you were not complete, that you were not created as a half. You were created as a whole. So that you have to know that you are enough and that you are more than enough for that child. And so that's what you have to remind yourself of, that you're not incomplete, that you're not half, that you whole, and that you got everything that it takes to raise your child. And so you have to remind yourself for that. You got to write it down and read it. You got to speak it out loud. And you got to tell yourself that, because otherwise you will feel like you are on an island, a deserted island, and you can't flourish and nothing good can happen. And whatever narrative you give yourself, that's what you're going to believe. That's what you're going to create. When you've mentioned that a woman's appearance sends a message to a man, how does a man read a woman who's bald? Off direct is say strong. The other thing it could say is, if it's not strong, then it could say, well, it's gonna say strong regardless. But he may wonder if it's alopecia, or he may wonder if she going through chemo. Is it chemo or radiation? And so he may wonder if it's something like that. But for me, it says strength. And the reason why I say strength is because it's not the norm. It's out of the norm. It's off the beaten path. It's unique. It's rare. And so to do something that's not normal, to do something, to rock something, because a woman that's bald could also wear a wig. So to do something that's not, every woman or 9 out of 10 women, to me, that says this woman is bold. This woman is daring. This woman is strong. This woman is confident. And so, you have to think about that. But yeah, and then too, different men gonna read women differently. I'm kind of, sometimes I read a little too deep into things. Hey, big brother Tony, do you think couples therapy would help to sort out issues regarding his after 2 years of a relationship? He's aware now, but a lot of damage before diagnosis. I don't think it could hurt. I don't think it could hurt. So it could be worth it. I don't think it could hurt, but help is help. So it's worth a shot. And if you married, it's worth a shot. And if he was diagnosed with that, then if that doctor, that diagnosed does sessions, then that could help too. But I really don't understand that on a deep enough level, because I'm not a counselor or a therapist, so I try not to speak on stuff that I don't understand. Make sure y'all put the hashtag Q so I can identify the questions easier. How can get in the blessed business tribe? I get out of the blessed tribe. Will I still have access to the videos with being in the blessed business tribe? God bless you, Mr. G. I'm not 100% sure, but I think when you're in the blessed tribe, up under my video, it'll say see perks. And when you click that see perks, on the left hand side where you see blessed tribe, right up under it, it's a blessed business tribe. Or depending on your device, it may be over to the right, it may be to the lower left, it may be over to the lower right, depending on your device and how you're looking at it. So what I recommend is logging in from like Google Chrome on your computer and not from your phone, because when you go to the phone, especially on an iPhone, the memberships are more because iPhone take 30%. So the memberships are more from an iPhone. Whereas if you log in on a desktop and not an app, then you can join the membership for the price that it is. Especially if you're on a Google site like Chrome or something like that, then you're not paying extra. And then you log into your account from your phone, you already got the membership. I think it should work like that, but I'm not sure because of how they do it. But it's just an upgrade. And yes, you have access to chat. So the Blessed Business Tribe members can chat in here, because any membership that's higher than the base membership, they could do everything that those under it can do. So yeah, you have access to it. Not sure if it makes sense to keep male friend around, both 21, 5-year friendship, but he flirts every blue moon with me and wants to take trips with me. Is it possible he has underlying motives? Um, no, it's not worth keeping them around. And the reason being is men and women can't be friends. And I know, and I say that as a blanket statement. And I know there's exceptions to the rule. Candace, God bless you, welcome. And Honey Savage, welcome. I know there's exceptions to the rule, so y'all think. And so I just say it's exception to the rule because y'all think it is. Because every time I say that, women say, "Oh, I've been friends with my guy friend for 20 years. And we best friends and he know my husband and all of that." Okay. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean what he doing in his mind to you. What he doing with his hand to you. That don't mean nothing at all. Because he know your husband. Men and women can't really be friends. Not forever. They could be friends for a season. It could be friends for a period of time. If it might take 20 years before he make his move. But if he like women, he gonna make his move. He eventually gonna make a move. Cause that's how a man wired. Now, the only time that don't happen is when a man is absolutely not at all attracted to a woman. But even then, a man still might make a move because of what that mouth do. He might not be all the way into the woman, but he still find a time to make a move. And so now for 21, y'all so young, so 5 years, that's from what, 16? So he really don't know left from his right at 21 years old. A man really don't begin being a man or entering manhood till 25. And so 21 years old, he can't walk and chew bubble gum. So you really can't. And the thing about it is a 21-year-old woman, you paying for a membership on YouTube to the Blessed Tribe at 21. It will be hard pressed to find a 21-year-old man that'll be a member of a life coach's or a mentor's YouTube channel that's not only focusing on making money. Now, a 21-year-old man will join a cryptocurrency page, a stocks page, a flipping shoes page, a making money page, but a page about life and bettering life, you'll be hard pressed to have a 21-year-old man in here. And so I say that to say that's the difference between men and women. And so you got to realize when you 21 as a woman, that's equivalent to about a 25 or a 26-year-old man. And a 21-year-old man is equivalent to, anywhere from a 13 to 17-year-old woman. And so that's what you have to understand. Y'all not on the same page. And not to say date older, it means focus on your money, focus on your school, focus on you, and don't give too much time and energy to men at that age. Why don't this guy divorce? We haven't been together in 5 years. No contact in my 30s. I can't do this. Not fair. Why not divorce? I don't know. And, just because that's a very specific situation. And so, but the question is why you don't divorce. Why you don't divorce. It got to be something in the law that let you go ahead and get your freedom back. So don't sit and wait for him. Off all topics, do you have Venmo or just Cash App? I got Venmo too, and but I don't know how it works. I got Venmo too, but yeah, I'm not sure how that. Like, I don't know the name on there or nothing like that, so not too sure. Like, I some people send me somebody has sent me a Venmo before. I don't know how they found me or how they did that, but somebody has sent me a Venmo before. Let me see. Somebody said, good question, Queen. Is somebody named Queen or you just were calling her Queen? Oh, okay, Queen, Queen Love. So you sent the super chat, but see, when you send those right there, the $5 ones, they disappear on me. So I didn't even see that. I'm glad somebody said something. So I saw that. Hey Tony, from your experience in dealing with different people, slash couples, what are some signs that a man is interested in or has dealt with men? To be honest with you, because I've never dealt with a man, I really don't know the intricate signs of a man who has dealt with men. So I like what I hear is that the women finding out. Now one thing about it, I could be wrong. And I realize that I have been wrong in the past because I would overly judge mannerisms. But I realize now, and that's just because of how I was raised. But I realize now it's men who I feel like is just into women, but they have mannerisms that I would have in my past younger years thought something was a little off. So like when a man sit with that leg crossed and he had that leg crossed and it's all the way crossed and it crossed and the foot that's crossed is about touching the ground and that foot about touching the ground, for me that was always a red flag. But now I realize a lot of men sit like that. And so I'm like, now hold on, I don't think he. So I realized that maybe that's just a proper etiquette class they done took. But me, I have never in my life once sat with my legs crossed. So that because it's something between them. So I just could not fathom or understand like, okay, so what are you doing when you crossing your legs? Like, where is that going at? That right there, that's there. Like, is it sitting up high? Is it dropping down low? Like, what's going on? So, and I always kind of watch, but it just ain't no telling today, sister. It ain't no telling. Because I'm going to tell you, I met a guy who was 6'10" with big old muscles. I mean, just looked like a tank and was shredded, all muscles, and had a lot of women. And then come to find out, he liked them some men too. And I was floored. I was absolutely flabbergasted. I was befuddled. I was decorroborated, dilapidated. I could not believe it. Did I say you is 6'10" and you like men? I couldn't even, cause I'm like, you too big to be with you a man, to be hugging on you a man. I'm like, big as you is, you 6'10". And so after that right there, I say, you know what? It ain't no telling today. It ain't no telling today. These men is different today. But one thing I wish these men would do is it's like, listen, come on out that closet, man. And just, you got groups out here, you got organizations. If somebody say something about y'all, they ready to hang up from the state. If somebody say something, we got to get canceled. Love you, buddy. Going to bed? Huh? Love you. We got to get canceled. So I'm like, you got all this protection out here. So I'm like, you might as well come on out that closet. So, sister, I'm going to tell y'all sisters now. You just got to pray. You got to pray for wisdom. Pray for discretion. And that's why I say you got to take your time. You got to take your time, because if this man like men, you need to take your time, because eventually he gonna slip. Eventually he gonna slip up. But if you rushing in there and you in there, boom, you in the bed in 3 months, you ain't gave him enough time to slip. Now, you get 9 months, 12 months, you gonna mess around and hear something or see something on that phone and now what the hell? And now you know. But see, the thing with our society is we so loose booty, we jumping right into the bed. And so now a woman in the bed with a man and he don't even know if she his cover up. or if he just doing that with her just because he having an internal battle. And so you got to be careful today, because you'll get up with something and that UTI, because you got to realize that man just hopped out of the fudge shoot, and he come on and give him some fudge, and then he come on over there to you. Now you walk around with a UTI. You walk around burning, itching, and just like, oh my goodness, what in the world happened? And what it was feces. And that's what you have to realize. So you got to take your time. You got to take your time. You got to be prudent. You got to be prayerful. You got to be patient. And you just got to pay attention to the signs. What are some tactics to use to get a guy after 2 years of dating? Recently, guy changed into a nut. Well, see, now first you got to be careful, because see, I don't teach tactics. You got to be careful. There's too many people out here. I don't teach tactics. I don't teach games. I don't teach playing. I don't teach none of that now. Okay? So this the thing. If a man turn into a nut, that means you need to learn to strut. If the man turn into a nut, you need to learn to strut. Meaning you got to get going. Because you got to listen now. What you meant by vet? He turned into a vet. Because now listen, if a man have been dating you 2 years, oh, you say how to vet, not how to get. What's some tactics to vet? Well, that's if a man turn into a nut, you ain't got to vet him. You ain't got to vet him. He done already showed you. He done already showed you. So now you have to ask yourself, because listen, if you want a nut, that means you a squirrel. You see what I'm saying? Now, see, sometimes people take that stuff serious, and it'll be a blogger. This the advice Tony Gaskin give women. Listen to this. Here go the clip. I'm about to play the clip for you of what the advice Tony give women. Now, if you want a nut, that means you a squirrel. They'll play that and not understanding sense of humor, and they'll think that's real advice. But what I'm saying is, if a man turn into a nut and you want a nut, that means you a nut too. So if a man turn into a nut, that means you got to strut. And so you just have to look at this and understand it. And Maya Angelou told us what she said. Believe who somebody tell you they is, or and that's the thing. You said, I didn't want to waste that much time. Listen, if you don't let it go now, you're gonna end up wasting 5 years. And then you're gonna end up wasting 10 years. And that is a huge mistake. That's one of the biggest mistakes that women make. Is we don't want to flush that time down the toilet. But you have to look at it like this. We done flushed that time down the toilet with that 4-year degree that we're not using. With that 6-year degree we're not using. With that 8-year degree we're not using. We let that time go. So if we willing to let the time go for the trade that we took and we not using, the degree we got, the certification we got and we not using, if we willing to let that go, we definitely need to be willing to let go of a no good relationship that's draining us, that bringing us down. You see what I'm saying? Because that relationship could cost you your life. I've learned so much from you, brother. Thank you for giving. God bless you now. God bless you. Dominique, were there any red flags in the beginning? D compilation now, you don't need don't you be in here coaching now. Okay? Don't you be in here coaching. All right. Listen, I don't want to be liable for nobody else coaching on here. I'm already liable for my coaching now. Y'all listen. Okay? Don't y'all be in here no extra coaching now. Hey, Uncle Tony, I was excited to see you sit down. You don't do interviews with just anyone. What set this interview off? What did you want us to take away from the interview? Well, I can't tell you what to take away from it. The reason why I sat down with Miss Tasha is because she put time and energy into building her following. I done so many interviews over my career, and a person had 10 listeners. And so she in a space to where they covering all these hot topics, all this celebrity stuff. And so I want to go over there because sometimes if people get into that, that's all they could be into. And they might not think outside of that. So if they hear my message and then some of them people come over here and they get the rest of this right here, and I think that's what she trying to do. She trying to say, listen, I'm not necessarily a life coach or author, but I'm gonna interview and introduce y'all to these type of people. So y'all could go get that over there and you come over here for the entertainment, and she might mix in some other little of her own lessons or opinions or what have you. But God children is everywhere because a lot of people that's on here watch those other kind of channels that cover hot topics and pop culture and stuff like that. So it was one lady wrote me and she was like, she was talking about she was disgusted and she couldn't believe I did the interview with her and calling the lady all kind of names. And I'm like, did she take your boyfriend in high school? Like, how can you feel like, I'm like, is this one of the celebrities that she done talked about and this your burner account? I'm like, how, ain't nowhere in the world you could be that mad at somebody on the internet. There's somebody on the internet. You don't even know this woman. So I think I wrote the woman back and then blocked her because I don't like that. Because Jesus, Jesus love our dirty behind. Jesus love our grown musty behind. So how we gonna look at somebody and got the nerve to look down our nose at somebody because of the industry they in or what they doing when it ain't like it's pushing some type of she exposing people. So guess what? If I cheat on my wife, she gonna be your best friend because she gonna expose the mess out of me. You hear me? If I cheat on my wife, she gonna expose the mess out of me. So really, that's another reason why I went over there too, just to let her know, just to let the people who think all black men are the same, and think that we can't live a faithful lifestyle. Now, I made every mistake in my past, every stupid choice in my past, but I'm not sitting at the peak of my career. I'm not anywhere near the peak of my career. But I'm not sitting at this level with 3.5 million people on social media and cheating on my wife. And like some guys doing. So that's also why I went over there, because if I was cheating on my wife with any living, breathing being, if it was a unicorn, she the person they'll email. Now, if somebody email her a receipt, it's from, you can't even read it no more. It's from when I was young, when I was out there. It's already wrote about it. I already told the story in the book. Me and my wife done already talked about it. We done already talked through it. But I know it ain't nothing that somebody gonna come up and say, nobody can come up and say, oh, me and Tony been in a relationship for X amount of time. Not a tooth fairy, not no man, not no woman, not no cat, not no dog, not no unicorn, not the woman on the moon. That nobody can come out and say, oh, me and Tony been in a long affair and we was in this and he told me he wasn't married or he told me his relationship was on the rocks. So that's why I could go anywhere. I could go anywhere and do anybody interview because I ain't got nothing to hide. And that's another thing is, when you in the body of Christ and you really living it, you can't be scared to go out and share the message. Because if Jesus just talked to everybody that's holy and sanctified, wouldn't be no purpose. So I got to talk to people who they don't believe in positive examples of black men. And so because of other coaches and people like that being exposed, and not being exposed for what they did 10 years ago, but being exposed for what they doing right now or what they just did last year or the year before, from coaches being exposed, a lot of people don't believe that we could be positive and productive. And that's why I'm doing certain interviews, just to show that yes, there are men who are sharing a good message, but also living what we are teaching. That we teaching from our mistakes, but we not still making those same bad choices. That people can change, people can grow, and I'm living proof of it. So we need to have faith in each other, in the sense of believing in humanity, because we at the point now to where people just blanket statement, oh, all them relationship coaches are scam artists, all them relationship coaches are this and that, all them is this and that, and just lumping everybody in. And it's sad, because if you believe that about me, then what you gonna believe about the man you meet in the street, who not online holding himself accountable, being vocal about his beliefs? You're gonna look at him like a peon and like he can't be trusted too. And so that's why I'm doing that, just to let people know. Ashley, welcome to the Blessed Tribe. Gigi, welcome to the Blessed Tribe. Rachel, welcome to the Blessed Tribe. Got back together with ex after a year, no or 10 months. Communication good, but says he's not getting married no time soon. I want marriage in mid 40s. Walk away. Yeah, you got to walk away if y'all don't want the same thing. You know, you got to walk away if y'all don't want the same thing. He could just got you back just to get you back. He got you back just to prove to himself he could get you back, and then just put you on ice. Just put you on layaway, because as long as he holding you still and he not sleeping with you, that don't mean he ain't sleeping with somebody else. So if you ain't sleeping with nobody, if you ain't sleeping with him, then he know you ain't sleeping with nobody else, because he know you. So he know you just got your life sitting there on hold. You on layaway. And then he tell you out his mouth, it's no due date for me to get you off layaway. If you stay in that situation, then he gonna think you a plumb fool. So then when he marry you, eventually one day maybe, if he marry you, he think you a plumb fool, so he'll marry you just to cheat on you. And just to get back at you for having the audacity to leave him in the first place. And so when somebody, you break up with somebody and then you go back to them, if they not doing different or doing better, then you need to go on back about your business. Coco, God bless you. On Zoom call, you said STL men are backwards, similar to Dallas men and DC men. No, I ain't say similar to Dallas men or DC men. I say different than Dallas men and DC men. So that way you misheard that now. Where do you suggest I move to for a quality man? I would love Cali if I can afford to one day. Thought Texas would be nice. Hey, Snow, Texas will be good now. Dallas will be a great place. Now, DC, that's a little different. That's the kind of men that a lot of them more white collar than blue collar. And a lot of time when white collar men, a lot of white collar men struggle settling down. White collar black men. Because they going from black collar to white collar. So now a lot of time white collar black men think they too good. They too bougie for a relationship. And then a lot of women looking down on blue collar men because they might make 30,000 to 50,000. Now some blue collar men, if they own the business or they in a certain industry, they could be making 6 figures, they could be making 7 figures. But a lot of times women don't want to see that process come to fruition. A lot of times women don't want to be a part of the process, a part of the climb, Maya ain't say nothing about Dallas, man. So if you wasn't on the Zoom, you missed it. And the other young lady was on the Zoom and misheard it. So that just go to tell you right there how that go. And see there, that's the thing. I'll take a blue collar man with clean nails. Now you saying that, Noella, and you saying that with your crying face, but you dead serious. You was dead serious. So a blue collar man, nails might look like a grinder ran across his hand. A lot of blue collar men chew their nails. Nails just look like if they scratch you, you'll just be leaking. And so you got to understand. So this the thing is like, hey, you got to understand now where this man heart at, where this man mind at. Can't worry about his hands. Can't worry about. And I know you say that jokingly, but 50% of every joke got some truth to it. So when you meet a blue collar man and them hands look a mess, You like, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. And then you go over here to the white collar man, and then he calling you a low value woman, and calling himself a high value man because he make 250,000. So now he all of a sudden think he God's gift to women. You see what I'm saying? So you have to, we got to get over the preferences, and we got to just solidify the standards. Boss lady, God bless you. You spoke on Sunday about putting a certain amount of money away for savings. Should that come from gross or net? That's a personal choice, because if your gross is high, that you could put away 10% of your gross and still live out of the net, then that's one thing. But if your gross is a lower number, that it almost take almost everything of what you have, then you may have to put that savings out your net. And so it's not a one size fits all. And at the end of the day, you got to do what you feel comfortable with, because tomorrow not promised. So a lot of people saving all this money, ain't gonna never get to spend it, because they count on days that they can't guarantee. So that's why I say you save some, you spend some. You saving enough to where if you live to get to spend that, you got some money there. And then you also still know you got your hustle and your grind. And if that's not guaranteed either, so you may have disability insurance. So that if you can't work, you got disability insurance. Our neighbor told us, he had a stroke, and they had disability insurance. So they insurance paid out, and they say they set for life off that insurance payment. And she told my wife, she said, make sure you get disability insurance, just to be safe. And so that's why I say everybody got to create their own blueprint. Because what worked for the man who got the toxic workplace, it's like, whoa, okay, buddy, you saving all this money, but now you getting a lawsuit for a toxic workplace? Come on now, Dave. What's going on, Dave? Okay, some of your staff leaving you. You supposed to be chipper, saving all that money, buying everything cash, not having a credit card. You supposed to be chipper. But you over there with a toxic workplace. So you might need to be spending a little more. You might need to be leveraging your credit, Dave. You see what I'm saying? It's to each their own. So when I tried to bring that envelope system in here, my wife looked at me like I was crazy. She said, listen, man, I'm not going in no grocery store with no envelope. And I'm not going in there with this here. And I ain't finna be. She let me know, like, listen, that right there don't work for me. So I had to come up with another plan, because what this man do in his household wasn't gonna work for me in my household. And to be honest with you, I ain't want to do it either. It just sometimes people make stuff look good. So that's why I say you got to do what's best for you, regardless of what me or anybody else say online. You take stuff with a grain of salt. You pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and then you make your choices for your life. And understand that right there. Jesse, put a hashtag Q in front of your question, so I know it's a question. Hey, Tony, I've been dating a 42-year-old man, doesn't have kids and never been married. Says his last relationship was in college, 20 plus years ago. Is he a red flag? Now listen. Now listen to me now. I hate to speak on people. I hate to call people red flags now. But 42, what Brittany said, now that might not be the case. But see, what I like to see is, okay, does his career speak for why he has not been married or had kids? Now, if he been getting to the bag, or building his career, might not be money based, but he been focusing his purpose in his career, and he didn't want to bring a family in the mix because he like Apostle Paul, then that's an exception to the rule. Now, if he around here with a regular job and last relationship was in his 20s, now you got to really get to understand, okay, you get to know him a little bit. Because it could be something that happened to him. Could have been some a woman just really crushed his heart. So we just ain't gonna assume the worst. But you got to have one eye open now on a situation like that right there. Now me personally, which I've tried to. Somebody said, is he a surgeon? I thought somebody said he a surgeon. That's why I say, like, is he an astronaut? Is he working with Elon Musk? And they trying to get to Mars? Like, what has he been doing with his time? To where he ain't had time for a relationship and ain't had no kid at 42 years old. Now it's men that are like that. I met a brother who is a surgeon, 44, never been married, ain't had no kid. And I told him, I said, man, I might need to interview you because you like the exception to the rule. I say, I always tell people, man, you can't trust a man who over 40, never been married, no kids. But I got a good vibe from the brother. Now, at the same time, it wasn't like he was on every woman list. Meaning, women have lists. And I could tell that he, wasn't on everybody's list. And until he got that bag. And when he got that bag behind his name, then he started to hit more women lists. So when he showed me the woman who he was dating, I say, yeah, you was never on her list. She there for the money. You got to want a woman that wanted you when you was in the 8th grade. And I started describing what type of man I thought he was. He said, Tony, you spot on. You 100% on the type of 8th grader I was. And I said, you got to remember that. Who was checking for you then? That's the kind of woman you need, the adult version of her. If the star cheerleader wasn't checking for you in 8th grade, 9th grade, don't get with the star cheerleader when you got money. And get the adult version of the woman who was checking for you when you was in 8th, 9th grade. Carol Joy, God bless you. Welcome to the Blessed Tribe. Jenna, welcome to the Blessed Tribe. I don't know if y'all rejoining because y'all got colors that represent being on here for some time. So I think y'all must be rejoining. Hi, Tony. What advice can you give women dating separated yet still married men? You kind of playing yourself, to be honest with you. Because a man married till he divorced. And sometimes men will get separated just to get a little break. Get a little hall pass. Sabrina, God bless you. Just get a little hall pass. And don't even plan on ever divorcing. Like the lady say, she ain't been with her man 5 years, her ex 5 years, and he won't get a divorce. So some men never plan on getting a divorce. So what I say, if it's the right person, it'll be the right time. So God is not the author of confusion. So God ain't gonna send you no man that's still legally on paper with another woman. That ain't the work of God. If you believe in God, that ain't how God get down. He not gonna put you in sin because you technically, if you date that man, you adulterous. He in adultery, and so that ain't the work of God. So that means that's not your man. And you need to tell him, listen, if you want you a woman, you need to go ahead and get your divorce with a quickness because you taking too long. But if you just want to stay separated and just date around, then you with the tomfoolery, and I ain't got time for the tomfoolery, so I'm going to go and let you be with one of these women who got time for the tomfoolery. And so you got to know yourself now. You got to stop. And that's why I tell y'all, don't be desperate. Don't be desperate. Hello, I met a doctor and engineer on dating app. Deleted app now, but we dated for weeks. They both ghosted. How can I tell if I'm under protective custody or if it's me doing something wrong? Well, I would have to know the whole situation to know which one it is. Because I know you want to hear you in protective custody, but you could also have done something wrong. But at the same time, it's a dating app. So you probably didn't do nothing wrong. They could just be socially awkward men, or they just could be men who they looking for for a woman who is not on this kind of chat, getting this kind of insight. they could be looking for them a dummy. And so you got to realize that. Sabrina, God bless you. Tony, keep saying that I'm not a member, but I still am. Can you comment in the regular chat? You might not be signed in to your account that you signed up with. That's probably the thing. You probably not signed up to the account, to the same email that you signed up with. And now let me ask y'all a question now. What do y'all women got going on out here with all the email addresses y'all got? Because people write in to the customer service and say, hey, Tony, I bought a course on TonyGassacademy.com and now I can't get into my course. And they got air in their chest as if I'm running a scam. I go to the course system and search their name. They got 4 different email addresses. And I have to write back and say, it's because you got 4 accounts. Who in the world, why y'all got all these email addresses now? It's like, what y'all got going on? And it's like, if you're going to have all these email addresses, you need to remember which one you using for what. So, sister, you probably on your bat email address, your bat phone. And, now, okay, to get different free subscriptions, okay. I figure y'all had something going on, some scammery. So I'm like, my goodness, why y'all got so many emails? And then the thing is, I'm like, okay, well, what that say about me? If y'all signing up on TonyGassacademy.com with your scam email, and then write in after you trust me, and you done tried to log in with your main email, and ain't no courses in there, because it's under your scam email, under your junk email. I say, well, darn. I guess I look like a charlatan. Okay, Sabrina, I can't comment, and I'm using my regular account. LOL, I promise. God bless you, sister. Now, don't keep sending that money on there now. Don't keep sending that money on there to answer that question. God bless you. You might have to log out and then log back in. Or you might have to change your browser or change your device. Now, I say that I do got 50 email addresses myself, and so I get it, but I just ain't think that was everybody. I thought that was just me doing that. Do good men usually come from a 2-parent home? Ironically, a lot of times the better men come from a 1-parent home, from a single mom home. Ironically. And why that is? Because I was a mess. I met my wife at 21, but up until 21, I was a mess. And I come from a 2-parent home. When I was in the streets hustling, my upline, my plug was from a 2-parent home. He was my cousin. And my sideline, my partner that I hustle with a little bit, he was from a 2-parent home. And so a lot of times, guys from 2-parent homes feel unrightfully privileged. And we do the most operating from a place of insecurity because we know so many men who are from single-parent homes and we want to be like them. And so we'll do the most sometimes trying to look cool or be cool because we come from a solid household. And a lot of times the guys who was just raised with their mama or just their daddy, a lot of times be the more solid guys because they had more struggle and they seen more, they went through more. And so they didn't feel as much of a need to prove themselves. And now that's not always the case, because sometimes if they single parent was a hot mess, then they're going to be a hot mess too. But the reason why single parent homes a lot of times can be better is because it's a singular voice. And the child is not confused. But with 2-parent homes, you could see your parents arguing. You could see somebody cheating on the other one. You could see the division. One parent telling you this, the other one telling you that. But when you're in a single parent home, it's their way or the highway. So you're getting a singular message and you're able to lock in and focus. And that's what I've noticed, just being completely honest. But yet I still promote and preach on two-parent homes, but healthy two-parent homes. That's the key. Two-parent home ain't no good if it ain't healthy. It got to be a healthy two-parent home with love and respect and honor. It can't just be two parents in there just to bring a check into the house, but they butting heads all the time, going back and forth and all that. How to know if son father is genuine this time about being a family? Our son is 10. That's a tough one there, sis. That's a tough one. To be honest with you, you can't know. It's only time must prove it. But most often, what's happening is the man, he thinks the grass is greener on the other side. And he goes over there and he realizes, oh, this grass ain't greener, it's fake. But I thought it was greener. Or this grass greener, but the water bill higher. And meaning the woman just want him for money. Or the woman just using him or something like that. And so after he realized stuff ain't sweet out there, then he want to come back. But the thing about that is when you have had to kick somebody to the curb and it's been several years. It's different when you kick somebody to the curb in 6 months. It's rightfully so because they didn't know you. But when somebody know you inside and out and you have to kick them to the curb and they come back, they speak a language with you. Meaning they have a language of love that they speak, and in a heated moment or when they get comfortable or complacent again, they revert back to that first language that they spoke that made you break up with them to begin with. So you have to now understand, see if this person has learned a new language of love. If this person has learned what love is, what a relationship is, and how to communicate and how to be with somebody and how to be honest, trustworthy, and faithful. It's Nequa. God bless you now. Thank you for joining the Blessed Tribe. Coworker keeps staring at me at work, but he's the supervisor. Looks nervous when I talk to him. How to make him comfortable to approach? Well, you don't want to make a man comfortable to approach if you're not doing nothing. Now, if you sitting there and he talking to you and you like, that's different. But if he talking to you and you just talking to him and he look uncomfortable, it could be because he got a woman at home and he battling in his head. Do I want this work wife and lose my relationship, or do I want to stay on the straight and narrow and keep my relationship? Or it could be the movement now. The M2 movement that he could be a little nervous about and like, hey, do this woman want a lawsuit if I mess around and shoot a shot? But guess what? If he's single and available and you start to feel and look more and more like his wife that he has envisioned, he gonna go and shoot that shot. He gonna go and shoot that shot. And it's not the type of man to let a movement or anything, especially if he know he being respectful. You know, he know he being respectful, and it's of the essence that a man is mature enough to shoot his shot. You can't roll out the red carpet for him because now you don't know if he a man if you make it too easy. So it got to be a normal interaction, and he got to get the kahunas to be able to, you know, make his approach. And if he can't do that, he's not ready for a relationship anyways. Dainty, the food, God bless you now. Thank you for joining the Blessed Tribe. Cut off every guy I was dating. And shout out to the moderators. Thank y'all so much for your help and support. I really appreciate that. Cut off every guy I was dating because I keep feeling like I'm not where I want to be in life, and associating with them isn't helping. That's wrong. Question mark. You say every guy you were dating? Well, dog. You had your roster? You like that with a roster? Like, you sound like a GM. You got here. Okay, yeah, you go. Got to get you cut. So it's like, if it's like that, now I guess you could not be where you at in life because you were dating too many of them. Instead of cutting all of them, you probably should just weed it down to the one that you got, that you feel is the best fit for you, and just try to focus and build with him. That could be the problem now. So, but it ain't wrong if that's what you feel you need to do. It ain't wrong. It's never wrong being by yourself. It's never wrong being by yourself. How did you know, and how would I know when I am ready to coach on a certain topic, such as thriving as a single woman? Well, when you thriving, meaning even if you in a struggle, you at peace. You could see the positive. You could be peaceful. You could choose joy. You could choose happiness. You could choose peace. You thriving. Even if your money not where you want it to be, even if you not in your own place, even if you ain't got no car, if you have found peace in your process, then you thriving. You define your success. Can't nobody else define your success but you. So when you know you successful, that's when you ready to coach. And so me, I started too early. I wasn't ready to coach when I started coaching. I was 23 years old. But it took me a few years to get really where I needed to be. And then after I got where I needed to be, it still took me a couple years. And so before I really had grew. And but one thing about coaching is like our coaches on my mentor.life, y'all gotta forgive me, my computer trying to die on me. I mean my phone trying to die on me. One thing about coaching is it helped me. Because as I was speaking into other people's lives, I was inadvertently speaking into my own life. So words have so much power that as I was telling a woman what her man need to be doing, it was reminding me what I wasn't doing for my wife. And when I was telling a man what he need to be doing for his woman, it would remind me what I need to be doing for my woman. And so that helped me. That helped me grow. And so because of that, I then was able to become a better person by helping other people. So sometimes serving others is also serving us. And that's what you got to realize. But it's never the right time, technically. Boyfriend of 2 years would yell and cuss at me when we would argue. So I finally broke it off a month ago. He was great in every other area of loving me. Thoughts on this situation going forward? Thoughts on this situation is don't look back. Don't look back. Man yelling at you and cussing at you, that means when he marry you, he'll be putting hands on you. So you can't look back on that situation. And what you also have to realize is sometimes a man is not great in every other area. Sometimes he just, them areas is to make up and to give him some cushion so he could take you down in that one area he want to take you down in. But always know that the verbal come before the physical. So if the verbal there and the verbal keep going and keep going and keep going, eventually the physical coming. So you got to be ready for that, and you did the right thing. And 2 years, that's you gave it ample amount of time. So if you 2 years in and you got to leave, that means it's a dead relationship. At 6 months in, y'all don't know each other. 9 months, y'all don't know each other. But when you have to leave somebody after the 12-month mark, that's a good move. That's a good move. Summer, welcome to the Blessed Tribe. Why are so many married men cheating on their wives? This ain't nothing new under the sun, sister. Ain't nothing new under the sun. I get approached by mostly married men more than single men. This is really starting to irritate me for my future relationship and marriage. Ain't nothing new under the sun. And the thing is, you just got to eat. When you meet a man, you just got to look at his character. You got to look at his character. And then too, it's just, it show you where the world at. Show you where the world at. Y'all, let me see something now. I'm trying to figure out how I could charge this here phone. Now y'all tell me when I take this here microphone, the sound gonna change now. But come on now. Oh Lord, this thing going. Y'all got to forgive him. Y'all got to forgive him. My phone popping up and it's saying trust this computer. I get the computer so old. I ain't got my new computer in here. Y'all got to forgive me. I'm trying to put my phone charger in. Old raggedy computer. Yeah, the computer too old. Give me 1 second. Yeah, making it freeze because it keep popping up saying trust this here phone. Trust this here computer. Old raggedy computer. Give me 1 second. And now listen now. Listen. Now listen to me now. Listen to me now. I know how to say computer. So for the people who just be eavesdropping, just be popping in, oh, see, that's why I'm gonna keep listening to the man in the dark, cause he don't even know how to talk. He talk about computer. Girl, what kind of coach you listening to talk about computer? I know how to say computer. Okay. I say computer because I chose at a young age to say my words wrong because I wanted to sound like my grandmother, because she was from Selma, Alabama. And you could imagine her being born in 1925. She didn't have the world's greatest education as a black woman in Selma, Alabama. So because of that, I talk like my grandma because I was around her at a young age. So when you hear me country, that's why it's intentional, because my school teachers were another race and we come from a very, racist area. So I didn't want to talk like people who didn't look like me. But talking like the people who look like me, they said their words wrong because they didn't read a lot and they didn't know the real pronunciation of a word. So that's why we say ambulance instead of ambulance. We say ambulance. We say mayonnaise instead of mayonnaise. We say computer instead of computer. And every other word you hear like screet and scrape and strawberry and must instead of even must. We say you ain't even must ask me did I want to go. We say finna instead of fixing to. So it's a whole nother language that we bilingual, because I know how to speak English, proper English, but I also know how to speak my language so that when I'm in my neighborhood, I can speak my language and they could understand me. Because you come from certain areas, you say a word the right way, they don't even know what you said. So you got to throw your word out of context, like context. You got to say context. So they'll, oh yeah. And I used to have uncles and stuff that they'll be around they white coworkers and learn one word. and come back. Yeah, man, it's just astronomical. It's like it's just so diabolical. And you be like, oh my God, where you done learn that? Where you done heard that word at? And so you got to understand with me, for the people that just be passing through, I talk like I talk on purpose. I can talk like a doctor, I can talk like a lawyer, I can talk like whoever, but I talk in my comfort. In my comfort. Ain't nothing about me dumb though. Ain't nothing about me dumb. So understand that. So let me see now. Put your a hashtag Q in front of your question. I ain't gonna be on here much longer. What time it is? I'm gonna do 25, 23 more minutes. So me and my wife could keep talking about this man who tried my son today. I broke up with a guy after 6 months due to being inconsistent and found out he was lying about where he lives, etc. I'm tempted to reach out to ask for the truth, but I know I won't get it, struggling with why. That right there is a lesson that every woman got to learn, is you got to move on. Now, men, a lot of time, men, we move on the wrong way. We do stuff the wrong way and for the wrong reasons. But that is a lesson that I feel every woman is, you got to get to the place where you can give yourself closure. You got to get to that place to give yourself closure. And as long as you waiting on closure from somebody else, you'll always be wide open and susceptible to attack. So you got to give yourself closure and go on about your business. Tony, you mentioned before, if a man sees you as a wife, 70%. But after you leave him and he sees you as a wife, 90 to 100% because you stood your ground and left. Now he's willing to try. Now he's willing to change. Try or run. Under 25. Now the part you're not listening to is that you should not be dating under 25. And the reason being is because under 25, y'all raised by social media. So yes, the men you dealing with is totally different. Totally different. You raised by social media. So now you could take a chance. And the fact that you left, that is true. A man see you as more as wife material when you willing to walk away. Now, if you're gonna try, he has to do the work. So y'all too young to afford coaching with me. I wouldn't even want y'all to spend coaching with me, but we got coaches for $25. $25 an hour. You might want to spend that. He need to do 4 to 12 sessions of coaching with a coach on mymentor.life, so you see he's willing to put in work if you're going to go ahead and be with him. Because I could tell you what you should not do, but you grown, so you're going to do what you want to do. So if you're going to do it, I want you to make sure you're going about it the right way. And what that is making sure that he puts in the work, that you see him, that he does sessions, and he could do sessions by himself and tell you what it was about. And then you need to do at least 4 sessions with him, so you hear what he's being told by the life coach too. And you get told, because you're going to get told too. And now if the life coach y'all with is biased one way or the other, because life coaches are human, then you go to another coach. And you could try a coach of each gender. And because some people still, even though a person is a coach or a counselor, they still operate from where they are. They still a human. It's not an automated system. A coach is a human. A counselor is a human. So understand that. Then what you want to do, because he's under 25, y'all need to read a book together. So you need to read A Woman's Influence. You need to read A Woman's Influence, and this need to be a prerequisite for everybody every woman especially, before you start dating, before you get married. And then together y'all need to read Make It Work. And what y'all do, the way you do this as a couple is you read a chapter a day. You read or you listen to a chapter a day and then you talk about it. Now, this comes from a successful marriage. So if the person you with disagreeing with everything, that's how you know it's a red flag. And that's how you know you about to be up a creek without a paddle. Because that's coming from somebody that's unbiased and that's in a successful marriage. Meaning, I'm going to call it like it is. Whether it feel good or whether it hurt. I'm going to call it like it is. So that's a red flag. You get you somebody, oh, well, I don't really agree with that right there. I don't really, do all that right there. And they ain't never had no successful marriage. Obviously, they didn't if you with them. And y'all marriage ain't successful, then that's when you know, okay, something a little biased right here. Tony, I feel like men put in a lot of effort impressing other guys instead of their woman. Why is this? Why is this? Is he interested in men? I'm just curious. No, it's just men. And women do the same thing. If you really think about it, women do the same thing. A lot of times women doing stuff to impress other women. And the same thing men doing. And the reason being is when you of the same gender, you kind of competing for supremacy. You competing for that front spot. So, like, I don't really like eyelashes, but like lashes on, but my wife wear lashes for y'all, for other women. The lashes ain't for me, cause I really don't care for lashes, but it make her feel more beautiful as a woman. I think she looked just fine. I know all her life, all our relationship without lashes to this last year or so. She went to try some lashes, classic volume, single. Tell me if you can see me. Sometimes raggedy Wi-Fi. Oh, you know what? I got my computer on right here. Let me see. Can you hear me on here? Because it's showing to me. Let me see. You can see me. Okay, you can see me. All right. So I went to my phone service. Sometimes that old raggedy Wi-Fi, it'll just go out on me. It say you lost connection. I thought it was the illumination. You know, sometimes when you telling the truth, them old illumination get the acting up with you. And so, or YouTube sitting over there watching, say, you know what, let us shut this down. You're doing a little too much good teaching over here. Let us go on. Oh, yeah, they'll mess with you now. They'll mess with you. Now, let me tell you, on Instagram, um, I'm shadow banned on Instagram. Because you got to think about it. I post a video on Instagram, but from me going live, whenever you go live, whatever network you on, they have to have a staff on working around the clock. So even if you go live 4 a.m. your time, it's 8 a.m., it's 9 a.m. somewhere else, 3 p.m. somewhere else. So that staff might be overseas. But whenever you go live on a network, they got to have somebody watching so that they could tell what you're doing. So on Instagram, I go live and I be talking. And I be talking about they. And I be talking about the system. And so they will put you in a category of an extremist. And then they'll go ahead and shadow ban your account to where it cuts your reach. Because there ain't no way I should be getting 2,000 views on a video with 900,000 real followers. Even if 1% of 900,000 is 9,000. So I'll post a video and get 1,000 views. That literally means, and you know, people nosy. So if people see it, they count a view after like 3 seconds. On YouTube, it's 31 seconds. So people nosy. So them views gonna be up there just by happenstance. But that show you how this here system work. And then people say sometimes, oh, I talk about TonyTube. But even if I do TonyTube, and the way I could talk about whatever I want to talk about, it's still on Deshanae. God bless you, it's still on Apple iOS. So if they don't like what you talking about, or they feel like you got a movement, Apple could take you out the App Store. Who you buy your domain from? If you got a website and they don't like your movement, or they feel like your movement is whatever, that the domain GoDaddy have shut down websites. And so the thing about it is, we never really have true ownership unless you meeting in person. And then when you meet in person, you still could get took out, as we saw with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. So the thing about it is, the truth in our world is shunned. And it's different version of the truth. You know, different truths being told. But if it's a truth that'll take a class of people from the bottom to the top by building healthy relationships, because you're stronger together than you are apart. Q&A over. Let me talk to you for a little bit. You're stronger together than you are apart. So if it's a group of people who can reverse the cycle, a group of people who have been marginalized and oppressed and suppressed, can come together and create unions that are strong bonds rooted in love and raising children in love on the same page, the access that is available will not be able to be denied. So, in order to be denied, it will have to be blatant. So, the ways that you are kept from ascension is underhanded. It's secret. So, if an artist goes into a label and the artist is heterosexual with a positive, uplifting message, the label will tell that artist, we don't think there's a fit for your music. If it's an artist of color, if an artist goes in and that artist is a man and he say that he like men and he want to do a show as he pregnant and he want to slide down a pole and he want to twerk on the devil, and he is a man of color, which is a color of strength, they're going to say, you know what? They're going to take that leg and they're going to pop that leg up there. They're going to cross that leg. You know what? You know, you're onto something. You're really onto something. Now, okay, so now what does the X mean at the end of your name? Is that like kind of like Malcolm? Well, not exactly. And so now if he say this is what he wants to do, now they finna say, you know what? We're gonna, instead of just giving you a record deal, we're gonna let you perform this at the largest, most watched award show in the world. Now, if somebody wanna come and sing about positivity, oh dude, we're not gonna have you perform at the show. And this the thing. So you got to realize that the world we living in is very strategic. And that's why I say you got to take care of your household. So my son, he know who all the rappers are because he live in the world. He go to school. But what I have to do as his dad is I got to sit down and I got to say, okay, now listen, let's look at this here rapper. Where does he come from? What was he raised in? What lessons was he taught when he was your age? And what is his music talking about? I just saw somebody post about all of the rates that done went up. These rates here that done went up in all these cities. Do you know why all them rates are setting record highs? It ain't got nothing to do with the pandemic. It ain't got nothing to do with that. Because that ain't driving nobody stir crazy. Because you could go outside and just sit on the little green thing outside in the neighborhood, the little green thing that we sit on. You go outside and sit on that. You ain't got to go nowhere. Like, ain't nobody worried about that. People don't barely like people anyways. But what got them rates up, them trigger rates, what it got it up is the music. The music is getting worse and worse and worse. And all it's talking about, even the mainstream artists, is talking about taking people out, taking people out, taking people out, sliding on your ops, knocking heads off, doing this, doing that. And then when it's not talking about that, it's talking about self-medicating. And so that right there go into the mind of your youth. And because you busy as a parent, working and trying to make a living because you have always been told love don't pay bills, you're not expressing enough love to your child and not realizing that your child is being raised by a degenerate rapper, male or female. So the women rappers and artists, majority of them talking nasty, giving their body away, selling their body, being okay with open relationships, fornication, you know, this and that, all of this here stuff that's being fed to your daughter. And then all the stuff the men talking about is self-medicating and taking lives. That's being fed to your son. So now want your daughter want a man who gonna take lives and self-medicate. And then your son want a woman that's gonna have a wop. And so this right here is making yours what you trying to raise, it got them as degenerates. But you afraid of them being different. You afraid of them being talked about and mistreated. So, which my wife, it was a boy at the school who did something to my son. My wife went to the school and went up to the boy and said, listen, that's my son's lunchbox. Don't you ever touch it again. Little boy ain't never touch it again. Now, she shouldn't did that. She probably, but you got to protect yours. You ain't got to go throw hands with nobody, but just you being there. And your child ain't going to understand everything you do as a loving parent, but they'll understand it later. And so you have to think about this. And this what's happening in this here world. So that's why the voices like mine, you'll see one of these rappers, you'll see them get on live and they whole audience is on the live. Because we live in a world where people will buy a ticket to watch you set yourself on fire and burn. We live in a world where people will buy a ticket to watch you climb to the top and then jump or be pushed off. That's the world we live in. So when somebody talking like I'm talking, they're not going to make that go viral because it's too empowering. It's too enlightening. It's too educating. And so they got to make the nonsense go viral. Because as long as you being fed with just gossip, you easy to control. But the moment that you learn who you are and you learn why you here, you powerful. So when you get in the room with somebody who want to get over on you and you able to speak truth to power, now you shift the culture and they look at you and they like, whoa, something different about this person here. Because I ain't able to get over. I thought, like that man who tried my son today. He thought he could talk as an elderly white man. He thought he could talk any way he want to a young black boy. But now when he heard from me, now he finna, oh wow. So this kid got representation. Oh, this kid not here on financial aid. Oh, this kid ain't here just because he an athlete. Oh, this child got a dad in the home. And the dad articulate. And in the dad's signature is several websites that look like millions of dollars. Oh my goodness. This what they doing today? You mean to tell me they're not just athletes? You mean to tell me they're not just rappers? Oh. Mm. And I wrote that man, I say, let me know if I need to come see you face to face to get a better understanding. And I wanted him to feel me. And I said to that man, I say, I raised my son right so that he don't meet somebody like you with implicit bias but got a gun. Because the demerit you gave him could be a bullet that somebody else like you judging him want to put in his back. So now when he hear that, oh yeah, and they get mad about that. They get mad. Oh, you want to pull the race car? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's being used already against me. Because of how you talking to me. Because of how you look at me. So I might as well pull it so that I know what's going on. And so this the thing. We have to get to a place to where we go into a space of emotional intelligence. And we get to a place to where you can articulate yourself without being ghetto. And what I mean ghetto is being unemotionally intelligent. Emotionally unintelligent, meaning you go into a place to where you got to be yelling and screaming and cursing instead of articulating yourself in a way that somebody could hear you. See, take a note from how I'm talking to you right now. Because what I'm saying to you, most people that look like me will be hooping and hollering right now with a bunch of well and a bunch of amens and a huffing and puffing. But see, that's going to raise your blood level. Your brain waves going to start firing so fast that you actually can't hear me. But the reason why I'm talking low and slow is to give your mind enough time to process every word I'm saying. The reason why I'm not using real big words like some people try to do, trying to sound smart, is so that no matter what level of education you have, you can understand me clearly. And we have to come to a place that we look in the mirror and we see what we are allowing to affect us, that we see what we are allowing to control us, that we see what we are allowing to permeate the minds of our children, to enter the minds of our children. Because when your child being raised by YouTube, Netflix, and the streaming services, you're going to raise a degenerate. And so you got to get to the place to where you shift the culture and you elevate. And you don't let nobody play on you. Because some people will try to play on your insecurity. They'll try to play on your trauma. They'll try to play on your brokenness to get you to spend more money. And I used to do that. I go somewhere and somebody look at me like I'm less than. I buy the most expensive thing in the store. They just won. They just won. And I realized later, I said, Tony, you got to grow. You got to have some agency over your life, and you got to come in here and you got to ask to see every piece of clothing that you want to see. Try on every single thing you want to try on because you know you got the money to afford it. And even though they turning their nose up at you, the fact that they turning their nose up at you, try on everything and then walk out the store. Because you done seen people who don't look like you come in here and do the same thing because they feel like they own their money. And you feel like your money was given to you, a loan to you, and that you got to prove something to somebody else by buying what you cannot afford. And so I had to grow on that. So now I talk to people, I talk to the sales people, I let them do their whole spiel. I let them do their follow-up call because they want to do all their sales tactics. I let them do their follow-up call if I got the time to give. I ask them the tough questions. I ask the real questions. And if it don't make sense to me, at the end of it, I say, no, thank you. That ain't going to work for me. Excuse me? Excuse me? Sir, well, if you don't get this today, this could be gone tomorrow. I say, well, that's all right. It ain't for me if it's gone tomorrow. I need time to think on my money. I work hard for it. Well, yeah, you're right about that. I understand that, but we really want to, get you to go ahead and sign up because we really feel like this will benefit you. And they do all their sales and they used to playing on your insecurity. And the same thing with the school. You go to the schoolhouse, you go to your son's sports team. I done had to go up to the referee after a game because I see him call a foul on my son over and over and over that he don't call on the boy that looked like him. Because he see my son as aggressive because of his skin color. I have to go up and tell that ref, listen, you need to check your implicit bias. And you need to be mindful of that. And leave your little racism at home. And then walk on off on them. And just let them sleep on that tonight. Just let them sleep on that. And the same thing with the school. You got to be able to speak up for yourself and for your children and express yourself. And don't worry about well, you pulling this kind of card and you pulling that kind of card. Yes, I come in here with a whole deck. I'm finna hit you with a king. I'm finna hit you with an ace of spades. I'm finna hit you with every card in the deck. You right. I'm pulling that card. I'm finna pull another card. And because you reminded me about the card I just pulled, I'm finna pull another card on you. And you got to do the same thing with your job. And you got to stop letting people try you like a baser. That's a drug addict. And you got to be able to stand up for yourself. And you got to know what's going on. You got to know what's going on. You got to be able to look around and look at the messages. You got to not just look at the message, but you got to look at the messenger. A lot of times people say, oh, ignore the messenger and just listen to the message. No, because the validity of the message is determined by the messenger. So that's why the message that Jesus came with, God didn't send just anybody with that message. The person who carried that message had to be blameless and spot free. Had to be without fault. The messenger matter. So a lot of times we looking at people and we listening and we not paying attention just because it sounds good to our ears, but we ain't looking at the person life who behind that message. And are they implementing what they talking about? So if a man sitting up here trying to get women ready for a relationship, but he ain't getting men ready for a relationship, then he one-sided. If a man sitting up here trying to get women ready for a relationship, but he not in a relationship, that means he don't know how to be ready as a man, then that's somebody ain't ought to be listened to. If somebody coming and they giving all kind of advice, financial advice or any kind of advice, they ought to represent that. They ought to look like that. You don't want no out of shape trainer. You don't want no broke financial advisor. But that's what we got today. You don't want no single marriage coach, no single relationship coach. Okay, if you single and you mastering single season, then talk about self-love and being happy as a single. And you could share lessons from your failed relationships, but you don't have to pitch and position yourself as a relationship expert if you ain't had a relationship that done worked out. And see, that's the world we in and we just don't pay attention. So the reason why I got to talk and talk and talk, and you got to understand this, and this for everybody that's in this lane. In the lane of, you're in the slow lane, meaning that it's a climb and it's a grind. You got to understand that the ones who come from the people who ain't here to do no good, they're going to go from the bottom to the top real fast. And that's because the adversary owns the channels in between. And everything based on an algorithm. And so if what you're doing going to be detrimental, if the people behind the algorithm don't care about your people and what you're doing is detrimental, they're going to open your reach. They're going to put you on the home page. They're going to push you. But if you sound like you could start a movement of positivity and have people thinking right, Now, see, you could be talking right, but if you also sound like you off your rocker and you not emotionally intelligent, then they'll let you go too because they know that you gonna lose your way. They know that you gonna show that you ignorant or that you immature eventually. So they'll go ahead and let you go viral because they know they could tell it. Princess, thank you for joining the Blessed Tribe. And so you got to be able to evaluate yourself and evaluate what you're listening to. And I tell people all the time, now if you got hot water and you got cold water, then what that make? Lukewarm water. And so it's a lot of people that want to be hot and cold. You could be on fire for your purpose, but you can't be on fire and on ice. It don't go together. Regardless if that's a song name or a band name, you can't be on fire and on ice. So you're gonna have to pick a side. And so what I mean by this is I see people on my channel in the comments, and I'll be on the channel of somebody send me a video of some ratchetness, some tea that's out there to give me a topic for a video. And I see people who be in the comments on my channel on this here Instagram page or this. I'm like, oh, okay. So okay. That's why you confused. Because you confused because you want to be on fire and you want to be on ice. So now you're just stuck in the middle. And that right there is the issue. You can't be an atheist and a believer. You're gonna have to pick a side. You can't say, oh, I'm a Republican. They be like, oh, well, we don't have anybody running for the Republicans. Now you independent maybe, but whichever one you vote for is one or the other. And so in life, imagine you living in a city that got red and blue flags in the streets. You can't walk down the street with a red flag hanging out your back pocket and a blue flag hanging out your back pocket. If you choose that lifestyle, you got to choose a side. So if you choose a lifestyle of positivity, you're going to have to choose to be positive. Because if you're trying to be positive, but you also filling up with junk, now the junk just canceling out all the positive. And that's what keep you stuck. So understand me like this now. If you put the car in drive and you hit the gas and then you hit the brake and you put the car in reverse and you hit the gas, where have you gone? So when you come and you get filled up with a message by your pastor or your coach or what have you, and then you go fill up with junk music or with junk content, where have you gone? You have not grown. So you're going to have to dedicate yourself to the lessons and the lifestyle that you want to see fruit from. Excellent beauty, God bless you now. Thank you for joining the Blessed Tribe. And so this is what we got to understand. And so the voices of the righteous, meaning living right, the narrow road, the slow road, the slow grind. Slow grind. I think I got it from Isaiah Thomas, the little NBA player. Now, the voices that's positive gonna have to be intentionally sought out. Because voices that's positive. So listen to it. Ask yourself the question, why a man who is faithful to his wife and going on 15 years of marriage can get online and talk and share a message and not go from 0 to 1 million subscribers in a matter of months? But men who get online with toxicity and one-sidedness and passive aggressiveness And belittling people and cursing at people can go from 0 to 500,000 or to 1 million or 2 million in a matter of months. Because the messier you are, the more momentum you're going to have. My goodness, glorious crown resource collaborator. God bless you now. God bless you. You ain't have to do that now. You ain't have to do that, but you did. God bless you. Thank you, Coach Tony, for spreading your message from the Lord. I was a lost sheep, and God sent you to bring me back. Hey, God bless you now. God bless you. Some people use that word sheep against you now, but we rebuke the devil in the name of Jesus. Lisa Bowman, welcome to the blessed tribe. Janias or Janaeus, Janai, welcome to the blessed tribe. And so now listen to me now. So you got to think about that. Now, let me ask you this. You think about your favorite, all the way conscious rapper. And somebody who really speak truth to power. And then you ask yourself, how long it took them to make it? Versus somebody who is lil this or lil that. And who get the biggest and who spend the most time on the Billboard chart? The one that's really challenging you to think and to grow, or the one that just got a good beat and a message that is messiness? And then you see the difference of what the world gonna celebrate. So that's what you have to realize. You got to realize, and then the ones who trying to be positive will get ran up out there. You really don't really see positive reality shows. All these networks, all the 24 hours in a day, they can't find a single hour for a positive, uplifting reality show because they think it ain't gonna be no viewers. We all want to see somebody win at the end of the movie. We all want to see that. So what make the TV think positive reality shows not gonna work? They ain't tried now. They ain't tried now. Not in no prime time. But they gonna do the mess because that mess is gonna play on the brokenness and the ignorance and the insecurity of the people. Because we so unhappy in our lives, we like to see somebody else with a worse life. So if somebody on TV getting flamed, they getting wore out the frame, we call that our ratchet, messy entertainment because of how we feel about our life. But when you get into a good place in your life, you don't even want to entertain that. You don't even want to watch that. I don't watch reality TV. If it come out, I'll watch one episode. That's what people be in my comments and say, Tony, what you think about this show? Tony, what you think about this show? Tony, what you think about this show? Listen, I can't do what I do on the level that I do it and fill my mind with those shows. So if you trying to go forward, you're going to have to stop watching them shows too. Because that's just junking you up. And it's just messing with your subconscious mind. And if you're not refuting the message, it's going to your conscious mind. So now you doing the same thing they doing. And you end up in the same mess they in. And a lot of people don't get no sense. A lot of people don't get no sense. And so we'll watch a woman on the show get with a man who only want her for her money. But she want a man so bad for a storyline that she don't even care that the man only want her for her money. But because you watch that show, you will go into the real world and you will get a man who only wants you for your money. Because this woman that you watch on your favorite junk reality show did the same thing. And subconsciously, you didn't refute the message. So you did the same thing. And that's what we seen happening today over and over and over. So listen to me now. I done went over my time. But see, sometimes when I go to talking now, I get to talking and not just answering them questions. Because sometimes them questions be, all over the place. But I want y'all to think about this. Because see, one thing that I'm about, especially this here year, after losing my videographer last Monday, it really done put some things into perspective for me. because my videographer who shot all the courses and he shot some of the YouTube videos that you see with graphics on it, he was 24 years old. And he was sitting in traffic at a red light, and a cement truck was not paying attention and going full speed ran into the back of him. They believe his life was lost on impact, and his car burst into flames, and it pushed him from being the seventh car up through the light. It put four other cars in, all four cars was in flames. And he was burned unrecognizable at 24 years old, doing everything right, living for the Lord, didn't curse, didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't club, didn't fornicate, living right. So it helped me put something into perspective. Tomorrow ain't promised. So you got to be able to speak your truth. Got to be able to tell the truth. You got to be able to analyze your life. You got to be able to make sure you're right. You got to make sure your ducks in order. Your ducks in a row. You got to make sure your priorities in order. Because we live and breathe as if we'll be living and breathing until we ready to say, Lord, I'm ready to come home. And that ain't always the case. So in a year of growth, you got to start analyzing your life. And you have to get to the place to where you can appreciate being uncomfortable for growth. And you got to get to a place to where you can look at your influences and look at what you're doing. And you can realize that not everything is worth doing for money. Don't do nothing for money. Do everything for purpose. And you can make money from living your purpose, but you got to be on purpose. You got to be intentional. You got to operate with integrity. You got to be genuine. You got to keep your word, and you got to do right. And you got to get that out you. You got to get that toxicity out you. You got to get that scarcity mindset out you. You got to get that mentality that comes from your people or your race or your culture or your gender being oppressed or being spoiled, whichever side you on. You got to recognize where you operating from, and you got to do a cleanse. And you got to get to a place where you could be productive. And you got to evaluate the things in your life, because the thing about it is a lot of people will say how to be successful, how to be this, how to be that, but they want to mix the sacred with the profane. And you cannot mix the sacred with the profane. You got to pick a side. You got to choose. Am I going to put toxins into my body, or am I going to put healthy things into my body? You got to choose. Because if you put the healthy, then you put the toxin. Now you just canceled out the healthy. So it can't be a diet. It got to be a lifestyle change. And I'm not just talking about like eating. I'm talking about in life. It can't be a diet, something that you just, I'm going to read. I'm going to read, or I'm going to listen, or I'm going to watch for a week, for a month. And then I'm going to go back to watching what I was watching and get some of the messiness in. And there was so many people who, I remember when Scandal was on TV and Empire was on TV. And I watched an episode of Scandal, one episode of Scandal, all the seasons it was on there. And I watched maybe a half an episode of Empire. And now the show that's on TV, Harlem, me and my wife watch a half an episode on there. We watch it to see what the devil doing, because we know he used the media and music to get his message out. And after that, I don't watch the stuff. I don't watch it no more. And the reason being is because that stuff take root. It take hold in your life. And you will start to attract that same mess. And what it'll do is, the hour that you call relaxing, you call that relaxing, and you watching something that ain't teaching you nothing. It's not moving your life forward. It's not bettering you. But it's your little cool down, it's your little wind down, because you're on a dead end job. But really, that hour you giving to the stuff that's not moving you ought to be given to your purpose to help you get off your dead end job, instead of giving that time to junk to help you forget about your dead end job. And see, that's the backwardness that we engage in. We put the car in drive, we go for a little bit, we hit the brake, and then we put the car in reverse and we hit the gas again. So all you doing is you're doing just like right here. That's all you're doing. But when you make a decision, you got to make a decision. And when you make that decision, you got to get going. And when you get to going, you got to keep going. And when you get going, you can't spend too much time looking in the rearview mirror. You can't spend too much time at the rest stop. You can't be picking up every hitchhiker. You can't be looking right and looking left. You can't be doing that. You got to keep your eyes on the mark. And you got to get to where you're trying to go. And that's what we're not doing. Because we want a little bit of righteousness and we want a little bit of ratchet. We want a little bit of good and we want a little bit of bad. Not realizing it's canceling the bad, canceling out the good. And we make excuses for it. And we want to be regular. Women come to me and say, Tony, I'm a great catch. Why don't I have a husband? Then I go to talking to them and they smoke weed. Don't no good man who gonna be faithful and a good man in his household want no weed smoking woman. And he not gonna be no weed smoking man. Because he understand that's an addiction. And he understand that has control over his life. So he not gonna be into that. Don't no man want no woman who into nasty movies. Because he understand that's an addiction. And he understand that's feeding lust. So he understand lust can't be quenched. Lust got to be starved. Because lust will destroy you. He understand that. And vice versa. Man say, oh man, you know why I can't get no woman, all this right here. It's because you want a woman that's perfect. You want a woman that got every little body part you like and that finna cook 7 days a week and clean every day, when that woman is a human. And just like you get lazy and just like you don't want to do stuff every single day, neither does she. But what you want, what you're asking for is unrealistic. That's why you're single. And see, that's what a lot of time we don't realize, because we want a little bit of righteous and we want a little bit of ratchet. We want a little bit of good, want a little bit of bad. And it just cancels out. And now you can't make no progress. So you got to get to the place the way you know who you are, you know what you want, and you take action toward it. And you stay on that path. And when you stay on that path, you're going to get a reward. And when you get the reward, you never want to go back, because now you done got the reward. So now when you see, so listen, when I was a cheater as a young man, 18, 19, 20, I'm cheating and I'm thinking that's the life. But now when you be faithful and you get the rewards of being faithful, because now you realize you got focus. Now you realize you got favor, and that you realize it come from your faithfulness. So when I was out there, my mind was here and there, you all over the place, you really not producing anything. But when you get focused and you put that magnifying glass on one blade of grass and you let that sun shine through, you're going to spark something. But if you just hopping from blade to blade to blade to blade, ain't nothing going to spark. So you got to realize it take intense focus in order to get where you're trying to go. And once you experience intense focus, you never want to be unfocused again. And so many people want to arrive, but don't want to drive. You cannot arrive if you unwilling to drive. You can't keep going and driving, going in reverse. If you want to arrive, you got to be willing to drive. Meaning you're going to have to put the pedal to the metal and keep your eyes on the prize so you can arrive. Now these rhymes, I might need to start being a rapper. They're coming off top of the dome now. So now understand this. And people come all the time. Tony, you know, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to be this. I want to be that. And they don't understand what it takes. So when somebody come and they see a, a fruit, they see a reward, they don't understand the work that went in. So when a young man come to me and he see that I don't have a team and that I produce what I produce without a team, without a partner, without a publicist, without a manager, without none of that. And he said, well, man, how you did this? I said, I'm with one woman and I'm 100% faithful. And I don't cheat on her with nasty movies or not. I don't cheat on her with Angela. I don't cheat on her with marijuana, with getting drunk, with gambling, with smoking. I don't cheat on her with no vices. I had to lock in and be faithful. So when a man hear that, okay, so you went from being a drug dealer and a womanizer to who you are today, and you work alone and you work from home and you can make 7 figures, but then when they hear that sacrifice, oh, I got to give up my weed. I got to give up my hookah. I got to give up the script club. I got to give up my OnlyFans subscriptions. Ooh. I got to stop sending my cash outs to get the news on Snapchat. Ooh. You mean I got to be honest with my woman? I got to be fair with her. I can't talk to her like the lint between my toes. Ooh. You know what? I don't know. You know what? I don't know if I want that lifestyle, Brother Gaskins. I said, exactly. So when you look over and you see somebody blessed, but see, I ain't talking about just blessed financially. I'm talking about peace and prosperity. Because see, a lot of people got financial blessings, but they got to self-medicate. So listen to all the millionaires on music who telling you they popping pills and they on the lean and they on this and that, but got millions of dollars. See, your peace is going to be your real prosperity. And that's where you got to get to. In order to get peace, you got to cut out toxicity. And cutting out toxicity may mean you might have to step away from your mama for a little bit. Phase food, God bless you. You might have to step away from your mama for a little bit. You might have to step away from your daddy for a little bit. Your sister, your best friend, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. To cut out toxicity, listen. Blood running through your veins don't mean somebody got the right to run you to an early grave. So you got to understand that can't nobody, not even your own child, run you to an early grave. You got to put people in place. You got to have people in order. You got to let people know what to bring in your life and what not to bring in your life. And you got to set those boundaries. So like right now, I'm not texting after 7 p.m. Call Jesus. Call Jesus. Now, I text close family, but I told my wife last night, I said, I'm going to stop texting my sister at 10 p.m. so that she know I'm married. Don't be texting me because you single, so you might be thinking my marriage ain't doing too good because I'm texting you at 10 o'clock. I don't even want my own sister to have a thought in her head that my marriage ain't on the right page. You see what I'm saying? My sister, she wrote me today, hey, Tony, can I go to the game with you Sunday? No, because it's a men's meeting this Sunday in my suite. And she said, I'll just be a fly on the wall. I said, I don't want no feminine energy in there because it's going to be all men. and we talking of it's my mentees, and we talking about their hopes and their dreams, and the reason why I'm doing that is because my wife gonna be out of town. So this my blood sister, and I still set boundaries. That just because you my blood don't mean you can have any and everything that I got. But see, in our world, we don't believe in boundaries. We've been told that if you do good, you owe everybody who got your same DNA or some of your DNA. That you got to put everybody in a car, everybody in a house, that you got to divvy your money up across everybody, even if those people didn't want to sacrifice with you. And we will feel bad about it. And we will feel so bad about it that we actually will flip the narrative and brag about it. And we will go and we will do interviews and we will sit down and we will brag about basically going broke for people who are unwilling to sacrifice the way we sacrifice. And see, that's the narrative that got to change. To where if you gonna go get yours, you getting yours got to be inspiration to everybody around you to get theirs. If they able-bodied and they adults. And the kids got to be inspired to get on the right track. I pulled up to the barbershop. I was in my wife's car. And the little boy, he said, hey, he said, man, I like your G-Wagon. I said, you want one? You got to keep doing the right thing. Don't just like it now and think that it just going to come without doing the right thing. He looked at me, kind of weird. But I know when his head hit that pillow, because he probably 12 years old. When his head hit that pillow, he said, man, he told me I got to keep doing my schoolwork if I want a car like that. Because now he know this don't come from hustling. This don't come from ratchet rap music. No, this come from dedication and sacrifice. Righteousness. Doing the right thing. And see, so you got to get to where you want to be by operating with integrity. And then you got to let people know. You got to let people know what you did to get there. Because everybody who doing the wrong thing want to show you their bank account and show you they perceived blessings. Because they know that process jacked up. But then when you get blessing, somebody got blocked yesterday. Because he talking about, he had a guy name, but they don't tell him if it's a guy or a woman because people have fake stuff. He said, you used to be humble. Now all you doing is bragging. Nah, I wrote him back. I said, if I was bragging, I'd be showing off everything I got. You don't see me doing nothing. You don't see me do a house tour. You don't see me do a car tour. And if I wanted to do, ain't nothing wrong with it. I say, don't let my confidence offend your insecurity. Because you don't tell that rapper who's shoving nonsense not to show you or not to mention his blessings, what he called blessings. But when somebody living right, you think humble mean being quiet. You think humble mean poor mouthing. Like my sister called it, poor mouthing. Like I got to pretend I'm broke, busted, and disgusted because I'm doing right. Blah! Blah! If you can't appreciate and respect my blessings the same way you appreciate and respect the opulence and wealth of the gossip bloggers and the rappers, blah! How in the world somebody want to live right, be faithful to their wife, cut out all vices in their life, except for Popeye chicken once a month, and then can't have no blessings, then can't be blessed? I say, that's sad, the world we live in, that somebody want me to play small to make them feel comfortable. Somebody want me to pretend that God ain't been good to me to make them feel comfortable about their life. Listen, it got to be the year of uncomfortability. People got to get uncomfortable. People got to get uncomfortable. And people got to know your boundaries. And they're going to have to see your blessings. A brother called me tonight. He said, oh, yeah, this such and such said this right here to my wife. about your son, 100% complete lie. 100% complete lie. Wasn't nowhere near the truth. And my son told me the little story. And so what happened was the boy who hating on my son is like a 11th grader. But on their varsity soccer team, my son get all the playing time, and that boy don't get no playing time. My son got some shoes that cost $1,000 because he has straight A's. So I reward my sons for doing good things to teach them that life rewards you when you do right. And so my son got some expensive shoes. Well, the boy who hating on him, who went home to his daddy and created this narrative because he don't get no playing time, the boy told his daddy that my son play over him because we funding the program, which is a lie. We ain't gave $1 to the soccer program. The lesson is that when you start doing good, people gonna start hating. When you doing right, people gonna say you wrong. So when it ain't a negative narrative about you, when something can't be found, people gonna make up a lie for their own comfortability. You got to get to the place that you okay making people uncomfortable with your excellence. The things you sacrificing, the thing you pursuing, when it elevates you, you got to be okay walking in it. You got to be okay walking in it, but you got to tell your testimony. Don't let nobody look at you. I was at the gas station. I was pumping up the car. The man said, "You a baseball player?" Cause a lot of they think I look young sometimes. "You a baseball player?" Cause the car was in, and I I said, "No, no, sir. And my body ain't that fit now to be no pro baseball player." I said, "No, sir." He said, "Oh, you look like one." I said, "You looking at the hill car?" A man was in the street weed whacking. He's turned around and spent the weed whacker, and he hit another one of my cars on the side. We stand there talking. He said, "All right, you some type of ball player?" I said, "No, I'm an author." So I be having to shake them up. I'm not finna let them think that my money or my blessings come from doing what they think I'm supposed to be doing, music or sports. Let me tell you about my business model. I'm gonna run it all the way down to them. I write books. I have online courses. I'm a consultant. I'm a life coach for NCAA sports teams, for pro sports teams. They fly me to the team to work with the team. I work with celebrities. What? What? How you got into that? I wrote a book when I was 22. What? When you were 22? I have to shift the culture. So as you pursuing greatness and as you start to do some things in your life that's different than what your family have done, you got to let people know. No, don't put me in no box until I'm going in the ground. And I might not go in a box then if I want to be cremated, but don't try to box me in until I'm going in the ground. And you got to be okay walking in that. You got to be okay walking in that. You got to be okay with your pursuit of excellence offending people. You're going to have friends and family and co-workers and schoolmates, classmates, all kind of people going to look at you like you think your stuff don't stink. And you got to let them have that. You got to let them have that. And you got to keep being great. You got to keep doing you. So, hey, this Tony Gaskins, I done went way too long now. I went way too long. But I appreciate y'all. And shout out again to the Glorious Crown Resource Collaborator. Sent that blessing there. You ain't have to do that now. But y'all sit back now. Y'all, when this done, you watch this here again. Get that in your spirit. If you just not showed up, it really didn't get started till after the Q&A. But that's a lesson we got to learn. And whichever side you on, you got to take the lesson for you. So if you on the side of oppressor, you got to stop oppressing. If you on the side of oppressed, you got to stop being oppressed. And so you got to get the lesson that's for you. And the thing about it is, what I tell people, the truth only step on our toes when we walking out of line. The truth only step on our toes when we walking out of line. So when the truth step on your toes, you got to realize, ooh, I'm out of line. Ooh, I'm out of line. And I'm gonna tell you what happened now. I'm gonna tell you what happened. This is a lady, she hired me for coaching. Let me tell you this story how when you mix the good with the bad. It was this lady, she hired me for coaching. And on the first call, I'm like, man, this is a successful woman. I mean, own real estate. I mean, just seemed like a go-getter. And one time, somebody told me about this woman who being led by the devil was on YouTube, and she was calling me and another coach narcissists. And she was claiming that she got receipts. Now, see me, back in the day, it's something else I do about my name. Now, I take you in that court of law, defamation of character, and have on everything you got. Because I know I ain't leaving no receipts. But the lady was saying this for clout. Yeah, and Tony Gaskins and RC Blades, and they doing this and doing that. Lady don't know me from a can of paint. And do you know that the lady who hired me for coaching, who was commenting on all my videos, was over there on that lady page in the comment, just a clapping and just a supporting. I say, wow. And then one day, the lady hired me for coach. She get on a coaching call, and the lady say, "Yeah, Tony Gaskins. So yeah, I want to talk about what I was promised. That you told me that there will be an opportunity." I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." I say, "For one, ma'am, I've been doing it for 14 years. I know good and well I'm not going to promise nobody an opportunity if I ain't got no opportunity to give." I say, "So what are you talking about?" "Well, you told me that if I started my YouTube channel and I posted every day for a year, there would be an opportunity." I say, "For one, if we talked about your YouTube channel, I told you to post every day, that was so you could get in the algorithm and grow your channel. But I don't have an opportunity for you. So what are you talking about? You know what? My sons know about this and they know what you are doing. And so you telling me that you not putting coach such and such before me?" I say, "Who?" I said, nah, what do you mean by putting her before you? You promote her and you don't promote me." I say, "Now what in the world?" I say, "Ma'am, now what?" I said, "Hold on now." I say, "Ma'am, I really don't understand what you're talking about." And she said, "So you didn't change my Facebook status? And where it says, what are you thinking about? You didn't write Tony Gaskins?" I say, "Ma'am." So I said, "Man, hold on now." I said, "Let me get this straight." I said, "You on the phone, you done paid me for coaching, and you telling me I hacked your Facebook and wrote my name in there?" I say, "Oh my goodness." And then the lady said, "Yeah, and you're watching me on social media. You're watching me on Instagram." I say, "Man, I don't watch nobody on Instagram. I don't even follow nobody on Instagram but my wife." I say, "But guess what? The lady, when somebody told me about this lady Paige, this lady was talking out the side of her neck. She yelling, she cussing, she sound drunk." And I'm like, man, and I just could feel so many spirits. Because there's so many spirits out there. I could just feel so many spirits. And this lady was in her comments. So I'm like, how can somebody follow me, take my courses, hire me for coaching, and be in and then supporting somebody who calling me all kind of everything but a child of God? I say, this don't make no sense now. And then when the lady got on the phone, I say, you know what? I say, wow. I say, this is what the Bible meant by turned over to a reprobate mind. I don't even know what it means. And then I realized spiritual warfare. I also realized how people try to set you up. People try to set you up. When people see you doing good, and this is what I tell people. When you out here posting Bible scriptures, it's a young man I see, he posting reels. Every reel be about God. It be about God. And now I notice he's starting to think he look good. He's starting to think he look good. He did the little faces he be making. I say the devil finna try to take him on out of there. Cause see, listen, when you trying to do right, people gonna try to set you up. And so what the lady was trying to do is almost like she was talking as if she had the phone call recorded, or she wanted me to say something or something so that she could be the person that has some kind of receipt. And so I have receipts of my own. So you see people out here that they doing this little stuff and all this, like the church couple in Atlanta that got exposed for they little conferences and trying to fake money and take money and move money and embezzle money, and they members came out on them. And then the other couple up in Philadelphia with the young lady, and they say they build apps for people and they ain't building apps. So when people who look like me go to doing shady business, then people will start coming to you and trying to see if you do shady business. Somebody will come sign up for a course and ask for a refund. If they didn't open the course, I refund their money instantly, right there. Boop. A lady the other day in my growth group, in the mastermind group, she wrote in, "Hey, we didn't have a call in December, and I need to be refunded because I ain't getting enough content." Refund. Boop. Right there. Boop. Refund. No question asked. Then she wrote in the next day, "Well, I need to be given a choice if I want a refund or not. Because if I didn't know that there was going to be more content and that Tony was going to do a 10-hour call on January 2nd, if I would have known that, I would have stayed in. Listen, man, you wrote in, you asked for a refund. Here go your refund. Okay, now you out the group. All right, because you want to write in and speculate when I could have been in the hospital. Something could have been wrong with me. It was a lady, she hired me for coaching. And this is a real thing for coaching. A lot of people don't understand coaching now. A lot of people don't understand coaching. Let me tell you how this is. And this is what I'm telling you about integrity. I talked to a guy yesterday. He got a big YouTube channel. I talked to one of his salespeople. This man got a big YouTube channel, 10 times the size of mine. To talk to him for 1 hour on Zoom is $20,000. $20,000. $20,000. To talk to him in person is $30,000. For a ticket to his seminar, entry level ticket, bottom ticket, just foot in the door, $2,500. Now, a lady hired me for coaching, business coaching for 1 year. Now, based on the coaching algorithm, how you told to charge for coaching, I'm supposed to be charging about $2,500 an hour. I charge $400 an hour. Now, with my business coaching program, my branding, one-on-one branding, it comes with a 4-hour inset in person, whether that's Zoom or in a conference room, intense brand building session. And it comes with monthly calls and it comes with text access. So it's $7,500 for the year. A lady came and she signed up for that. And I said, contact me in 2 days, or I'm gonna contact you in 2 days. Now, the 2 days was the weekend. It was on the weekend. So when I said that, I'm thinking Monday, like 2 business days. She texted me on Sunday. "Hey, Tony, you said you're gonna contact me on 2 days. 2 days have passed. Now at this time, my son's had a tournament, so I was gone the whole time, and I had got sick. So I really couldn't even talk, couldn't hardly move. You told me you was gonna contact me in 2 days. If this is how business is gonna be done, then you could send me a refund, and I could, and we could just go on as friends." And first I said, "Oh, so sorry. For one, the day Sunday, I apologize. I did get sick, and I've been ripping and running with my sons the whole weekend. I say I apologize about that. We could set up a call as soon as you're ready." As soon as I said that, my spirit said, "Tony, if somebody see your brand, see what you represent, will right away accuse you of being a thief or a fraud without even checking to see if you're living, that ain't the type of person you want to work with. So immediately, my next text was, ma'am, I'm going to refund your money because I don't want my brand to take any negative. I don't want anybody to think that I'm not a man of integrity. So I'm actually going to refund you right now. And I logged into PayPal and hit refund so fast. Just like that. Because if a person came right and say, hey, Tony, you said 2 days. I realize it's Sunday, but I haven't heard from you. Is everything okay? Are you okay? And are you okay? If a person can't like that and immediately jump to something negative, that got to go. So that's the same thing when you got somebody in your corner that the first time they hear something negative or y'all have a disagreement, they ready to cut you off when they done known you for years and they know who you are. But off of one misunderstanding, they don't even want to talk through it. They just forget my number. That's what let you know that person right there been a friend of me the whole time. That person been a friend of me the whole time. So this what I mean. I know I said I was finna go, but that's what my family known for. Them Gaskin, we known for that there. Hey, all right now, I'm finna let you go now. Hey, all right now. And then my dad and my uncle talk a whole nother hour. Be like, man, you just said we finna go, daddy. What y'all still talking for? Then my daddy come get in the car. My uncle come to the window. They talk another hour. He put the car in reverse. They still talking. He get down the street and stop. Hey, yeah. Now what you said? Now see, this what I was trying to tell you. They talk some more. So y'all got to forgive me when I say, and some of y'all be teasing me when you come to my video and it be like, hey, just popping in for a little quick video. Then I'll be talking for an hour. But see, that's how it is, though, when the Lord gives you something to say. Because like I told you, we got to say what we got to say when we could say it. Because it's a lot of people, they're going to lie 4-5 hours with nonsense. And so we got to have that same, for those on the righteous side that doing the right thing, we got to have the same energy as those who not trying to change lives and only trying to entertain. We got to have that same amount of energy. So that's why I do what I do. And on January 2nd, I was on Zoom for 10 hours straight. I talked for 2 hours and I answered questions for 8 hours. And you know how much how much I charge for that Zoom session? $25. And see, that's the other thing. And it's sad that we got to do like that to show what integrity look like. Because everybody lump everybody in the same thing. Oh, they all scam artists. They all this. They all that. They all frauds. They all fakes. Instead of looking within to see how somebody move, to see what somebody really represent. People just assume, oh, everything is done for the money. And people don't realize. So, hey, I got to go. And I'm going to tell you one more thing. Now, y'all got to forgive me now. I'm getting ready to go. But I'm finna think of something. And what I want to do right here first, though, is I want to praise my wife. Because, see, I ain't Nelson Mandela and all what his wife had to put up with. I ain't Muhammad Ali had to go to prison for years. I ain't Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and what their wives had to put up with. But my wife let me sit on here for 173 minutes and don't bother me. She don't bother me. She don't text me. She don't come in here, hey, you need to get off of that. It's time to go. The reason being is because she is a woman of purpose. Understand that she with a man of purpose. And she understand that the work got to be done. And that right there. And if I have to go somewhere, I have to do something. I'm working on a book proposal for a book that I'm going to pitch to my publisher. And I got to go Saturday to a hotel on the water because I need to listen to the waves for me to think right. And when I'm in that hotel, my wife, she don't be bothering me and blowing my phone up and where you at, what, show me the room, what you doing. She don't try to steal no time. She let me work. And that come with a level of trust. And I had to earn that trust. I had to build that trust. But she still give that trust. And that's something that I want to say because it's some men who trying to be good. But see, this is the thing. Depending on your influences, if your influences is only the negative, then you won't be able to believe the good about somebody. That's why when you see somebody fall from grace, you'll see people in the comments, I told y'all about them people. I told y'all everybody online giving advice, living crooked. Those the worst ones. And it's because all they feed into is negative. Do you know somebody asked me why I did an interview with Tasha? Do you know I don't go back and be checking the comments? I went that first day. Do you know it was several people in the comments that said I never heard of Tony Gaskins? So now these black people, and I got 3.5 million real people online. They call them followers. 1.8 million on Facebook, 900,000 on Instagram, 300 and some thousand on Twitter, and 300 and some thousand on YouTube. And my Facebook page used to reach 20 million people a week from my quotes. And it would people say, I never heard of him. And I say, wow, it ain't that many black people in the United States. So if somebody page reaching 20 million people a week, how did you not hear? But that show you how suppressed. That show you how suppressed positive voices are. That show you how quiet the industry has positive voices. Now, if you ask them, do you know a podcast that's done in the dark with something spin on the desk? Oh, yeah. They'll know the middle name. They'll know the ex-wife middle name. But when you ask, do you know the man that's going on 15 years of happy, healthy marriage with his wife, and he talks about relationships? No, who is that? I ain't never heard of. Who? Tony. That's the world we live in. So when people say, Tony, why you did that interview? Because a few people have asked me that. For that very reason. Because I knew there would be people that my message could help, that they didn't have a clue that I exist in the world. That's why. Hey, God bless you. We'll talk soon. Hey, and shout out to my moderators. Let me thank the moderators real quick. Thank you so much to the moderators helping keep the chat, clean and clear. They let it go when I'm doing this right here. They probably had to go to bed. But thank you so much to the moderators. I really appreciate that. God bless you. We'll talk soon. Hey, now one last thing. I'm just playing. Now for those of you on my YouTube course, check what I put in there, the email I sent you about YouTube and how YouTube acting up, what they doing to us right now. Check that what I sent you. God bless you.